This is Gio Woodley, the in-arena voice of the NBA G League's Osceola Magic, and you're listening to a presentation of Shreveport Mudbugs hockey. It's almost time to drop the puck. Let's send it ringside for the Landers Auto Group pregame show with the voice of the Mudbugs, Zach Grant.
Well, it's about a month overdue here at Georges Pond at Hirsch Coliseum, but the Lone Star Brahmas coming to town to take on the Shreveport Mudbugs in one of two makeup games still left to go here in the South Division. And tonight, the only game across the entire North American Hockey League is right here. And you're live with us here on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network. Zach Grant welcoming you in here to the Landers warm-up show, driven by Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat. Successful weekend for the Bugs last weekend, or actually this weekend, the last 2 days. A shootout loss on Friday, hard-fought point there, and then, of course, Saturday night, huge as well. Last night, big 4-1 victory for the Bugs, and as we take kind of a look back at that, here's how that sounded a night ago. Trying to catch there, but it goes off the edge of the blade of Hoagland. Sticks, Aaron Creed right out in front, they score! It's great! Chance. Yeah, here's a giveaway. Barrett in over the line, right side. Barrett to the bottom of the circle, fires it, and Barrett finds a hole, and it's 1-0 Bugs. No big scoring chances, but he gets one there as the Mudbugs start flying onto the ice. And for the first time in the series, it's 1-0 Mudbugs. They strike first. He'll lose the tire there. Now comes back up top for Barrett. Barrett drives through traffic, rebound, they score! Green out in front, it's Liam Wolf-Colby who gets the rebound. Looks just like Corpus's goal. And the Mudbugs, 30 seconds later, respond, and it's 2-1. Down the slot, takes a check, shot, rebound, they score! It's Jeremiah Roberts cutting down on the slot after Gerhard put it on net, and the Bugs are up 2. It's 3-1 with a minute 21 to go. Remy picks it up, Pusa Terry launches it from the blue line, he got it! Remy from 180 feet, just like Lone Star. And it's 4-1 as Remy Pusa Terry goes yard. A look back at the Bugs weekend. Lone Star had a successful weekend as well. They've been rolling as of late, winning 4 of their last 5 games, including the sweep in Oklahoma earlier this weekend. Making the trip overnight, and they come to Georges Pond tonight for the Sunday matinee matchup. Bugs and Brahmas coming up next here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata & Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mammals and grills, they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Welcome back in here to Georges Pond. Time now for a coach's conversation as we sit down with the head coach of the Mudbugs, Jason Soupy Campbell, to preview tonight's matchup between the Bugs and the Brahmas, coming up just after 5 o'clock here on this Sunday. Now the most eye-catching thing this season so far has been the balance offensively. Most teams, you look at their leading scorers, they're in the 50 to 60-point range at this point in the year. Our leading scorer has 31 points, so some would look and say, oh, the offense is struggling and whatnot, but it's just a lot of balance. In Amarillo, we had 11 different Bugs find entries on the scorecard, and then on Saturday, 7 goals, 7 different goal scorers for the Bugs.
See, I personally love that. I think that puts us if we can get into the playoffs, I think that puts us in a great position to win a lot of tight hockey games, tight series. What some people may not know here is our first championship team that we had here in Shreveport in the North American Hockey League. Our leading scorer had 35 points, and that was like 60th in the league or something like that. And we ended up winning a national championship with that. So balanced scoring and balanced offense can win you championships, and that's what we're vying for.
Think about the explosive offense, but kind of something that got overshadowed with the 7 goals has been the goaltending. Rich Perrant was in town, our goalie coach, and they showed out for him this weekend. Of course, on Friday night, Phillips stumped 29 of 30, Hodges 20 of 21. And a lone goal for the Jackalopes on Saturday was a bit of puck luck, so not even really the goalie's fault there.
Our goalies have given us every opportunity to win the last probably 10 games or so. So they're right where we need them to be, and the team's getting to where we need them to be. And hopefully, things keep moving in the right direction. Goaltending stays the way it is. I like our chances with the group of guys and the direction that we're moving.
Now, Sunday, 5 p.m. start against the Lone Star Brahmas as we investigate the Lone Star Brahmas, again brought to us by DeFata and Associates. In first place, although that lead is diminishing. They're only 1 point up on El Paso now as they're straightened from second place. What do you see when you look at Lone Star?
Well, they're just a well-rounded team. They've got 4 lines. They've got good depth, good defense, good goaltending. And they've played consistent all year. So they're a hard team to beat, but they are beatable. So we've beat them. They beat us. Again, it's a forecheck thing. If we're able to put some pressure on them, get the puck in behind their D and put some pressure on them and find ways to penetrate their defense and get a lot of shots on net and traffic around their goaltender, that'll cause chaos and give us a good chance of getting a victory.
And again, our friends at S&T Fire Protection would like to know whose fire we've got to put out on the Brahmas.
Man, I'd probably, I'm going with their goaltending again, too. I just feel like, again, their defense is good, right? But their goaltending just seems to find a way to have and it's a team effort, but they only have 80-some goals against, I think, this year, and they don't give up many shots, but then their goaltender's there to make some big saves. So I think if we can find a way to just get traffic around their goalie and put pucks at the net, then again, we're going to have an opportunity to bury some goals and win against Lone Star in a one-game battle.
Alrighty, lastly, before we let you go and move on here at our coaches show, somebody from out there would also like to know, what's your biggest priority for the team right now, other than, of course, winning all your remaining games?
Just stay in the course. We got to stay positive and have good energy and build off of what we did Saturday night, even Friday night. I felt like Friday night we built off of that into Saturday night, and we were able to go from no goals to 7, and still kind of give up minimal goals. So against a team that scores a lot. So and then getting that forecheck going, getting that forecheck rolling. That's what we're looking to do.
Alrighty, that was our fearless leader, head coach Jason Soupy Campbell. Take a quick timeout on the other side. We'll take a look around the North American Hockey League South Division standings, getting ever so tight as we hit the home stretch here on the Bucks Broadcast Network.
You know that Shreveport Regional Airport offers more daily flights than any other nearby airport. Daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, and Houston means you're one stop from anywhere in the world. Make the short drive to Shreveport and start your vacation sooner.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats. the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our Sweet the Swamp Pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a Sweet the Swamp Pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Ramesses Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Alrighty, welcome back into the Mudbugs warm-up show, driven by our friends at Landers, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat. Counting down to the start of this one between the Bugs and the Brahmas on this Sunday, about a month overdue after Snowmageddon happened, not only here but also in Texas, so that's fun. And it's been a journey this year in the South, but we're down to a handful of games, and these two teams will battle for 2 points on this Sunday after the Bugs had 2 games at home. Lone Star had to make the trip from Oklahoma. They're going to be road weary, but ready to go here, as always, under Dan Wildfong. And now we'll take a look, speaking of those close games, we have to look at our out-of-town standings.
Well, howdy, good afternoon, everyone. Duncan Welker here once again. Let's take a look at those South Division standings. Firstly, Lone Star in first, New Mexico in second, El Paso in third. And mind you, New Mexico and El Paso are tied 62-62, but the Ice Wolves have 2 games in hand on the El Paso Rhinos. Moving along, Corpus Christi, the Ice Rays, 4th place with 55 points. The Mudbugs, 50 points in 5th place, as well as the Oklahoma Warriors with 50 points. But Bugs have a game in hand over the Warriors. So, Bugs are in 5th, Warriors are in 6th. Moving along, Jackalopes, Odessa, sitting in 7th with 47 points. And, of course, the Amarillo Wranglers down there in 8th with 40 points. Of course, now as we move along here, it's time for the Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyer Report, brought to you by our friends at Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers. No injuries on the Bug side of things, so that's always good to hear. But scratches, healthy scratches wise, and 1 suspension. Here are those names. The suspension wise, number 12, Duke Earhart, serving a 1-game suspension after his fight last night against the Corpus Christi Ice Rays. Good fight, but not good in terms of, well, needing him on the ice. But nonetheless, other healthy scratches include number 18, Gabriel Lopez Corsi, and once again, number 24, William Alexis Tremblay. Oh, it's all for your Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers Injury Report, once again brought to you by Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers. Moving along here, now time for your Whataburger starting lineups for both the Lone Star Brahmas and the Shreveport Mudbugs. Firstly, at the left wing for the Lone Star Brahmas, number 10, Christian Ventus Cinque, taking the opening faceoff, and at center, number 15, Vladimir Sable, and at the right wing, number 7, Tyson Scanlon. At the left defense is number 24, Denver Dampoose. And at the right defense is number 21, Austin Peterson. And getting the start in net tonight for the Lone Star Brahmas is number 35, Brady Craig. Of course, these Lone Star Brahmas, as always, led by head coach Dan Wildfong. Assistant coach is Logan Murphy. And, of course, head equipment manager for these Lone Star Brahmas is William Klein. Now let's take a brief look at the Shreveport Mudbugs Whataburger starting lineup. At the left wing, number 21, Jared Greiner. Taking the opening face-off, number 22, Charlie Birchfield. Excellent game last night from Charlie Birchfield. And at the right wing, number 36, Joseph Samango. Mamos Hope Samango watching back in Havertown, Pennsylvania. At the left defense, number 29, from Fenland Falls, Ontario, standing 6'6", number 29, Zach Wilson. And at the right wing, standing 6'4", from Denver, Colorado, number 6, Remy Pusateri. Of course, getting the start tonight for the Bugs, number 31, the Gormley, Ontario native, Tyler Hodges. So Hodges getting another start in net tonight after he had the night off last night, as Ethan Phillips gets the night off, well, the day off, I should say, rather. But nonetheless, Hodges is in the net tonight for the Bugs. Head coach, as always, for these Bugs, Jason Soupy Campbell. Assistant coach, Brett Smith. Honorary assistant coach is Chris Lane. Willis Knight and athletic trainer is Hunter Robinson. And, of course, head equipment manager for your Shreveport Mudbugs. Who else? Billy T. Welker. That's all for your Whataburger starting lineups. Once again, brought to you by Whataburger. Whataburger, just like you like it. So, as the intro video begins to play here, and we count down the seconds before we send it down to public address announcer Robert J. Wright. So you have to think one of the keys to the game, Zach, as we look here, almost exact same as last night. A hard and efficient board check against these Lone Star Brahmas is crucial, but also connected breakouts. The last time we played these Brahmas, a game I don't get me wrong, wish to kind of forget, but it brought us a good lesson. Needed a hard, efficient forecheck, connected breakouts, as well as shots with traffic and getting those greasy goals. Ryan Baird had one last night. Love to see it, and also just winning the special teams battle once again. Bugs now coming out of the Gemco hometown tunnel. Brahma's already on the ice. Brahmas are wearing the white Brahma jerseys with the black pants. Bugs, a change. They've been wearing the purple all week. A change to the black jerseys with the redded out Mudbug and the red stripes on the bottom of the jerseys and the red shoulder lines. So, momentarily, we're going to send it down to public address announcer, the one and only Robert J. Wright.
Start with the right team. Tonight's Mudbugs starting lineup. At forward, from Victoria, Minnesota, number 21, Jared Reiner. And forward from Brighton, Michigan, number 22, Charlie Birchfield. Forward from Havertown, Pennsylvania, number 36, Joseph Samango. Defense from Denver, Colorado, number 6, Remy Musateri. Defense from Fenelon Falls, Ontario, number 29, Zach Wilson. And tonight, between the pipes, from Gormley, Ontario, in goal, number 31, Tyler Hodges. And joining Tyler on the ice tonight, Mudbugs U-Hockey goalie, Max Smith. Bugs fans, time once again to show everyone in the North American Hockey League and beyond that we Bugs fans are without a doubt the most patriotic to be found. A few simple requests, please stand. Remove your caps and hats and join in the singing of this evening's national anthem. Please welcome back to George's Bond, Tiffany Schubert.
Whose broad stripes
up here, and the festivities also wrapping up as they do the ceremonial puck drop, which means it's almost time for hockey on this Sunday. As you mentioned, Duncan, Bugs back in the red and black here at home. And first time we've seen that look since November 22nd in this building. So it's been a little bit of a while until we've seen the red and black out there.
No, it really has. If I remember correctly, last time we saw it, New Mexico, if I remember correctly. Well,
it was El Paso back in November. Because you had Lone Star and Oklahoma, both the Christmas jerseys. And then New Mexico is when we debuted the purple.
Oh, at home. That's right. Sorry,
yeah, at home. Yes. We did wear them on the road in New Mexico.
No, my brain is not braining today, but it'll get better. It'll get a little more livelier. Just as this crowd's gotten a lot livelier, we were talking about it earlier. We were a little worried about the crowd numbers here at George's Pond inside Hertz Coliseum, but the fans are showing out. You love to see it.
Absolutely. You know, it's a weird day because we don't normally play on Sunday. There's usually only, as we also were talking about, just one Sunday game a year typically. So something's new here, but you got to do what you got to do when you got crazy weather here in the South Division. And of course, again, almost a month overdue to see these two teams match up back here at George's Pond. And it's been a crazy season series. 3-3. Both teams are 500. They had two sweeps. We sweep Lone Star on the road. Lone Star sweeps us in this building. Then we split the last series. So, I mean, I would expect nothing less from the Bugs and the Brahmas.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Just a interesting bit all around as we get ready to go here. Signals being thrown all around. Both goalies ready. Timekeepers ready. Charlie Birchfield going to take a face off. Zach, I'm excited. Let's get her going, brother.
We await the puck drop here. Birchfield wins it back, and game number 48 is off and rolling on this Sunday as Remy Cusateri will backhand it across far side. Bugs will get the first possession as they'll work out of the defensive end. And Zach Wilson in front of the benches will wrap it along the board. Intercepted for a moment by Lone Star, then dumped in by the Bucks. Semengo tries to streak around the defender. Back of the cage here. Birchfield throwing the body around. Physical newcomer. Flashing back to his first game, of course, was against these Lone Star Brahmas, joining us a few weeks ago. It's eventually tracked down by Lone Star. Yampoose with it behind the net. Will settle it down. Behind his netminder. 40 seconds gone here, opening period. No score at George's Pond. No shots on goal yet as that goes off a Bug going off for a line change. Almost dangerous that time as Scanlon was coming down the slot, but Remy Cusateri will steal it away. Remy up to center ice, off of Robert's stick. Now up ahead for Evan Hoagland. He'll dump it in, takes a check as he wraps it around the board. Takes a weird hop out in front. Left circle, Bucks control offensive end. Looking for the first shot of the game. At the blue line, they tow it for Burnt. Burnt down low. Right out in front, big drive and a big stop. In front, netminder is down on his backside. What a stop there and a meeting of the minds here. But the Bugs are throwing puck at the net early on. Great chance there, but diving to make the stop. Nice play that time for a whistle with 18:48.
It's a good play all around. And Bugs are able to create a chance there, but Brady Gray able to come up with that stop. I'll be honest, there were some fans ready to, Zach, as in your words, let the Mudbugs fly. But Brady Gray came up with it, and there's actually a honestly good mix of both Lone Star and Bugs fans here tonight. But
and then we heard a whole bunch of Lone Star fans taking a roughly 3-hour trip as Jackson Bates picks up the puck at his own blue line. Up ahead, intercepted at center ice by John Burnt. He'll bring it down the middle. His shot there turned aside by Craig. Goes far side for Jeremiah Roberts. Roberts up the wall again to the left point. Shot there. Tipped aside. Comes back near wall. Picked up by Grayson Gerhardt. He'll stick it up to the blue line for Hoagland, who one-times it. That one goes off the back of that. Jackson Bates picks it back up. Far side. Wrapped around the boards, comes now right side of the zone. Another one-time in front for Gerhardt. He pushed it wide, and the Bugs are going to have to do that here tonight because this is a Lone Star club that does not give up a lot of goals. They're averaging only giving up 2 goals a game, which is first in the South Division. It's also third best in the entire North American Hockey League. As it's controlled in the slot, defensive end brought up the middle of the ice as the Let's Go Mudbug chant starts now. It's dumped in all the way down. Evan Adams will track it down below the goal line, off to the right of his net. 6 it across far side. Bucks start to break out up ahead for Hoagland. Can't touch it. That's going to be an icing whistle with 39. As I mentioned, just giving up those 2 goals a game. They also have the 3rd best North American Hockey League road record through the Brahmas, 16-4, 1-2, 31-10, 1-4 overall. It's been a solid season for the Brahmas, but the crazy part is the way the South has gone. They're only a few points in first place, so everybody's kind of mixing it up out there.
No, they really are. 6 to 7 points right there for the Lone Star Brahmas in first place, but New Mexico's not far behind them. El Paso, same thing, obviously, but no, it is crazy to see that, what people thought was once unattainable, it could be attainable.
Adams will leave it off, and talk crazy numbers here. You look at the goaltenders. Brady Craig comes in 6-2-1 with a 1.95 goals against, 9.29 save percentage, and the crazy part is that's not even the best numbers. Leo Gabriel's only allowing a goal and a half a game. Just flipped up and over the line as the Bucks were settling it down behind the cage. Now they'll start to break out. Jonah Jasser sends 2 Brahmas into the corner. Whack at it there on the doorstep with Sakrisky. That gets pushed far side. Picked up by Dylan McFadden. They're forward for Lone Star. They'll start to break out up ahead. They come left side. And over the line to the offensive zone. Nice move there in the slot. Pushed it just wide was Vincenzo Capano. Comes around the near side in the left corner. Bugs defensive end. Adams tries to play to the wall. It's intercepted though. Right down the slot. Right circle drive there. It's put just wide. Hodges got a piece of it. Trickled just wide of the net. Lone Star still has an offensive end, working up to the blue line. Now out of the zone as Tavares can't handle it cleanly. Comes back out to center, and it's rifled in as the Bugs were on a partial change. Eventually picked up by Lexell. 5'10", 170 forward, and he sends that into the mix for a whistle with 16-24. And as you mentioned, Tyler Hodges getting the start, 15-10, 2-5 overall record. 271 goals against, 909 save percentage. So Soupy talked about it pregame. Goaltending battles are big. That's going to be another one here. And I'd like to remind you that this first period brought to you by our friends at Advanced Air Conditioning and Heating. Log on to advancedac.com for all of their wonderful services they provide. Zone drop coming here for the Bugs. Near side, Julio talks to the linesman about how he wants the face-off to go. It's eventually won by Tyson Scanlon. Yep, who's shot there? That's turned aside. Wolf Talby picks it up, right corner, defensive end. Remy Busateri leaves it off. Now for Poloni. Poloni turns it over right in front. Scanlon shoots, he scores. A giveaway right out in front, and Tyson Scanlon's got his 12th goal of the year, and not even 4 minutes in, it's 1-0 Lone Star.
An opportunistic turnover there for the Lone Star Brahmas as Tyson Scanlon able to come up with it right in front of the slot. And don't get me wrong, I think Remy Busateri definitely going to take that one a little harder than Jonah Chasser did the other night when he had his own unfortunate opportunistic turnover. But no. Yeah.
That's one of our keys to the game all weekend has been the turnovers in the defensive end. The Bugs and quite frankly Corpus as well, when they were here, did not do a good job in that category. And that one comes back to bite the Bugs here early on, but Semengo has the puck offensive end, flipped off the top of the glass all the way back down, eventually tracked down by Remy. They give it far side for Zach Wilson. That deep pair stays out there between the circles. Left in the corner, another turnover. Goes to the circle. Remy gets it back in the corner to stave off disaster. Gives it far side for Griner. Leaves it off again for Zach Wilson. Bucks having some issues here on this Sunday. 3rd game of the weekend for them, as it is for Lone Star. They had to make the trip overnight as Isaacson gets spun off the puck by Birchfield. Bucks bring it in offensive end for a moment before the Brahmas steal it right back. Bucks run a change. Lone Star attacks into the offensive zone. It comes in the slot. Bates gets a piece of it. Drops it off. Big drive for Isaacson. He blasted that one wide. Comes up far point. Shot there. Goes into the corner again for Isaacson. Bottom of the left circle. Below the goal line. It's controlled by Lone Star. Isaacson's got it back. Crashes towards the net. Hits the brakes and changes direction. Spins away from a defender Grinder that time. Slid up to the blue line. Far point. Drive there. Turned aside. Rebound comes right out in front. And Hodges will make the stop. And here we go. Mixing things up behind the cages. Isaacson takes a shove after the whistle. And that'll stop time with 15:03. And Brahmas and Bugs, we know there's no love lost between these two teams as John Byrne also comes in defense of Joe Semengo as he mixes it up with a couple of Brahmas there.
It looked like it was Birchfield who, again, got his start in the South Division against these Lone Star Brahmas. But, of course, we also saw Joe Semengo mixing it up. It was fun, interesting. Guys with bubbles and cages at any level, how are they able to, mix it up with, I guess they're kind of like the little brother that calls, infinite tag or infinite freeze or whatever. I don't know, but.
Here's Garrett at center. He slaps it in from the red line. Eventually tracked down by Alexander Oliver, 5'10", 185 defenseman. He's got 7 points on the year for the Brahmas. Flipped up to the wall. John Burnt tried to save it. It goes offside. And speaking of John Burnt, he is now the leading scorer for the Bugs after his big weekend. He's now got 32 points overall, 12 goals, 20 assists. He's also got points in 4 of his last 5. And over that stretch, he's got 1 goal and 4 assists. He's been big for the Bugs offensively.
Oh, absolutely. Unfortunately, though, however, just an unfortunate puck handle situation as the puck and Washington gets iced out.
Into the corner it goes. John Byrne gets a touch on it. Wraps it around the boards far side. Bugs trying to start the breakout again. They throw it to the middle and it's intercepted. In front of the net, it's Geller. He lost it into the corner with John Byrne. Gets spun down to a knee. Flipped up the wall towards the blue line again. Bugs able to break it out this time as Jeremiah Roberts has it to the right of the center circle. And he'll wrap it along the boards. And Craig got a piece of it, but it's turned over. Bugs get a shot towards the net there, but it goes behind the cage. Flipped into the corner again. Picked up now by the Brahmas. Slung up the wall towards the blue line again. Can't get it out. Both teams, you can tell this is game number 3 in 3 days for both these teams. It's a slow start here as it goes up top for Owen Case, who fires one. That gets turned aside. Roberts gets a rebound, slaps it to the blue line. Adams can't save it. He's got to play it back to center. Goes D-to-D with Owen Case at their own blue line, and it's dumped ahead as Roberts heads off for a change. Eventually controlled by Cray, and he'll drop it off behind his net for Austin Peterson. Peterson's got 14 points in 38 games for the Brahmas this year. Up ahead, got to Sinkway into the slot. It comes, try to hit the trailer. That's Scanlon, that goes wide. Scanlon gets it back though. At the far point, works up to the blue line for O'Keefe. O'Keefe goes to the bottom of the left circle. His shot goes off Case and all the way back down. Tyson Scanlon tracks it down in his own blue line. Spins off a defender that time, up the near side boards. Venton Sinkway into the zone. Sewn away by the Bugs right there at the left hash marks. Defensive end trying to work it out of the zone, and they'll do so successfully as Jason Simons carries the puck over center. Off to the right for Jasser. Jasser tried to hit Simons again, trailing down the slot, missed him. And it goes into the far corner. Brahmas pick it back up. Nice move around the defender. A couple of nice moves for Geller there. He's been big for the Brahmas the last couple of weeks, making plays. Now up the center of the ice comes Lone Star. It's dumped in. Remy's going to give chase for it, eventually controlled by the Bug zone. Flipped up the near half wall again at the hash marks. 4-car pile up there. Bert's free to open ice for a moment before McFadden is able to play it. Gives it far side now for Remy. He'll backhand it up the wall, back out to center ice. And the Brahmas will chase back in their own end. It's Grayson Cohen to get the puck for Lone Star. Vinny Giulio on there on defense, unable to save it in the zone. It's delayed offside. Bugs going to have to tag up. They're going to have to let Cohen play the puck, and Grayson's got it off to the left side. Brought in over the line by Vate. Centering feed McFadden. Drops it off for the trailer just wide of Isaacson's stick. And those passes just a touch off for both teams early on here as John Burnt brings it into the offensive zone. Into the corner it goes. Below the goal line, it's played, wrapped back the other way. 12 minutes to go, opening frame. Played up ahead to center. Lucier tried to play it. Birchfield stole it away from him. Dumped it off for the linesman. It goes back for John Burnt. Brought in over the line by Lucier now. Left side at the circle. Nice poke check to get it away from him by Birchfield. Goes back up to the blue line. Don Poos with a shot there. Turned aside. Into the slot it goes. Comes from near side up the wall for Semengo. Semengo moving left to right. In over the line. Lost the puck immediately though as the Brahmas able to snuff it out as Peterson wraps it around the boards and over the stick of the point man. It goes off a player on the bench, and that'll draw a whistle with 11:32 left in this opening period. 1-0 to score in favor of the Brahmas after Tyson Scanlon's goal. And with that, we'll take a quick time out here. 11 and a half to go. First period. You're listening to Mudbugs Hockey on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hey, this is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action. Claws up.
Mudbugs Hockey is brought to you by our friends at Porter's Industrial, delivering a difference for over 50 years, providing uniforms, floor mats, and facility services for your company. Porter's Industrial, delivering the difference. And so far, Tyson Scanlon has delivered the difference. The lone goal thus far, 8.5 minutes into this first period. He got the goal 4 minutes in. Tasinque got the assist, so that's Scanlon's 12th goal and Christian's 17th assist. So that's where we stand now as the neutral zone faceoff is controlled by the Brahmas. It's Liam O'Keefe. He'll slide it back into his zone end. Up ahead to the Bugs blue line. Remy gets a stick on it. Back the other way. Griner brings it into the zone. Drops it off Semengo. He couldn't get anything going there as it's turned back the other way by Tavares. Up ahead. Foot race for it. Icing washed out. Remy's got to win it. Back. Works off to the left of his net. Up the half wall again. Turned over by the Brahmas in the offensive end. Zach Wilson picks it up. He'll backhand it up for Semengo, and he'll lift it out to the blue line, but not out of the zone. Nice save that time. Gloving it down was Capano before the Bugs do eventually chip it out, and Liam O'Keefe will track it down to his own end. 10:54 left, first period here at George's Pond on this Sunday makeup game between the Bugs and the Brahmas. Bugs split the weekend with Corpus Christi, although they did get that shootout point. The Brahmas swept Oklahoma on the road. If they complete the trifecta this weekend are the Brahmas. This is dumped in. Over the blue line it comes into the Bugs end. Owen Case tracks it down. Now leaves it off for Evan Adams. Evan Adams up the half wall, turned it over. Shot there on the net, turned aside by Hodges. Picked back up at the near wall, below the goal line again. Brahmas have it, turned over though. Owen Case picks it back up in the far corner. Case looking for a play, works off to his right for Evan Adams at the circles, drops it back for Owen. Right in front of his net, will play it up for Gerhard. He can't control the headman pass. And this will be icing with 10:08 left to go here in the first.
Of course, all licensed receipts are brought to you by our friends at Louder Baking Company. Once again, that's Louder Baking Company. Thank you to Louder Baking Company. And as the faceoff gets sets up down to the left-hand side of Tyler Hodges, I see Dan Wildfong, well, being his Dan Wildfong self, chirping at the, well, not chirping at his own guys, but getting them, try to get fired up.
That's one thing you'll see from Wildfong's teams. They're not going to show up unprepared. The Bugs will play it up ahead, outlet pass, in over the line. Dort's a slot shot there from Gerhard, goes up over top the net. That's a good back check by the Brahmas there. Comes far side up the wall to the blue line, and the Bucks are going to have to play it out. Gerhard had a great chance. Goes behind the cage, off to the right of Cray. Left behind the net. Cray Dampoose with it. Son of the former NHLer back there as he goes off to the left of the cage. Lefty stick, skates up the middle of the ice across his own blue, now across center. Dumps it in over the line. Stolen away by the Bugs though. Far side, Shreveport's got it. Leisurely moving it into the zone. Comes all around near side for John Byrne. He'll leave it around the kick plate. Goes back far side. Jackson Bates going to win a foot race to it, and he'll lift it out of the zone. This will be icing unless it goes on net. Close foot race, and just barely winning the race for the Bugs. Just streaking down the near wing with Leo Isaacson, and he made it close that time.
Absolutely did. And
more flights, more destinations, more often. Now fly directly to 9 different cities. Shreveport Regional
9:08 left here in the first period. Face-offs coming far side.
Baking Company.
Who comes to take it for the Bugs? Looks like Chase Sakrisky back out there. He's been a workhorse after missing a few games early in the season. He has not missed a game now since November 22nd against El Paso, which again was the last time the Bugs were the black and red at home, as this is flipped up to center ice. Stick down by John Byrne in his own blue line. Up ahead to the Lone Star blue line before O'Keefe turns it out of the zone. Isaacson's got it at center. He's their leading scorer, 39 points, 28 assists for Leo this year. McFadden will dump it in. Back of the cage, it's played by Hodges. Leaves it off for Nander Poloni, getting the start tonight after being out of the lineup the last few evenings. Goes in the far corner again for Isaacson. Brahmas have an offensive end. 8:38 to go, first period. Slid up top for O'Keefe. He can't corral it. Goes off the boards. He has to backhand it out from center. The Brahmas have to tag up, and the Bugs get the puck back. Burnt flips it up the wall. Goes off of the linesman there, and also, I think it also went off of Vates. They tied up along the wall. Bugs get it right back. Work back into their own end. It's Sakrisky battling a couple of Brahmas before Vates wins it back for O'Keefe, who jumps it in all the way down the ice as the Bugs will pick it back up to the right of their netminder. In the D zone, Adams slams on the brakes and will settle it down right behind the cage. Everybody cycles into position here for the Bugs. 8 minutes to go, first period, 1-0. Brahmas after the Tyson Scanlon goal early on. John Burns got it at his own blue line. He'll cycle it near side for Adams. Adams up the right side of the ice. Up ahead, pass for Wolf Talby doesn't connect, but the Bugs going to win out the race for icing. Back of the cage to Brahmas play. Big hit delivered there by a Bug that time. That's Wolf Talby throwing the body around lately. Up the wall it comes. Evan Adams will try to kick it into the corner. It goes up to the blue line, and the Brahmas are unable to clear. Wolf Talby's got it back. High slot works off to the left. Slides it near point for Adams. He'll spin around and grab it. His shot gets deflected towards the net, and Cray will cover it up to the left of his net for a whistle with 7:25 left here in the first.
Mudbugs Hockey, as always, is brought to you by our friends at Fireplace Specialties. Fireplace Specialties, you know, Zach, they've got it all. Fireplace, gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mammals, grills, and, well, pretty much just about anything else you can think of. You know, they're located at 8500 Box Road here in Shreveport, or you can visit them on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. And as always, Zach, Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Also the proud partner of our coaches show. We'll have one Wednesday night, 6 p.m. at Buffalo Wild Wings on Airline Drive. So come on out as Lexell will play it forward at the blue line. The Bugs can't force it out. They do force it out. The linesman says it came out. But Tavares is going to have to tag him along with the rest of the Brahmas, and the Bugs will control. In their own end, swung off to the right side for Roberts through the middle logo. Off to the left it comes. His pass doesn't connect. Goes back to the cage. Tracked down by Peterson. Peterson spun off the puck, wraps it around the kick plate for Tavares. Tavares takes a hit as he lost it. It goes right in front of the net now for Geller. Geller up the center of the ice. Now he'll go through the middle circle. Feeds it off to the right at the line. It was good, but now the Bugs force the turnover. Here's Hoagland down the slot. Feeds it off to the left for Gerhard. Drop back for Roberts, who fired it wide. What a well set up play there by the Bugs. They had 3 players coming in, and now Lone Star's got a fast break the other way as it's dumped in by Tavares. He'll wrap it around the boards, comes near side at the hash marks, eventually controlled by Gerhard. He'll flip it high in the air, up to center ice, gloved down by O'Keefe. Good battle there at center, eventually brought into the zone by Sable. Sable left circle, spins off a defender, he's still got it. And now he'll wrap it around the boards, goes to the far corner. Cinque, he's tied up along the wall, picked back up by the Brahmas offensive end. Solacro, first time we mentioned his name tonight. The collision there as Remy Pusateri provides some D. And they'll send it over near side for Joe Semengo to start the breakout. Semengo up ahead, touch into the zone by Birchfield. He's going to win a foot race to it. Birchfield around 2 defenders, still has the puck, cycles it now below the goal line, wraps around near side. Zach Wilson hustles in, but is eventually flipped out of the zone by O'Keefe to center ice, picked back up by the Bugs. At center, they'll rifle it in. Goes off of the boards, right to Liam O'Keefe, who gets hauled down in the corner. Delacro centering feed that time at the circles. It's played up the near wing for Sable again. He'll chip it in, goes around the board's far side. Winning the foot race to it is Poloni. Andor's got it in his skates. He's going to hold on to it with 2 Brahmas. Now gets some help, and the Bucks will play it to the blue line and out of the zone as it trickles to center. And it's then dumped in immediately by Grayson Cohen. Hodges rather gets a piece of it, leaves it off for Owen Case, who settles it down below the goal line. 5:10 to go. Opening period 1-0. The Brahmas with the lead on this Sunday. Game 3 for both of these teams' weekends. Dumped off the boards. Poloni around 2 defenders will dump it in, but Vates gets the puck back. Defensive end will leave it off. And the Brahmas start to break out up the near wing. It's Isaacson. Isaacson, the lefty stick, using the protection of the boards that time. Brought in by Vates. He'll send it back into his own end for Oliver, who retreats into the corner. Oliver leads it off again for Jackson Vates. He dances around the defender, then eventually blew a tire and went down. Puck comes along the near side wall where it's flipped down towards the blue line. Burton will hold it in at the circles. Jasser also in there on defense, but the Brahmas able to poke it out. Nice play by Isaacson there at center. Now it's banked off the glass for Lone Star all the way back down. Mitchell Reed will wrap it around the boards, comes far side as the Bugs try to get something going offensively. 4:20 to go here in period number 1. Back of the cage. Mitchell Reed will settle it down. Mitchell Reed's got 3 points on it here in his first Mudbug season with high school teammates with Owen Case. Haven't seen those two on the same line in the last couple of weeks. As the deep pair as it's dumped in for Ryan Barrett. Goes off a man in front. He gets it back. Barrett down the slot trying to escape a few Brahmas. Goes far side now where Lone Star tries to turn it out of the slot, and they'll do so successfully. Up ahead on the headband, pass it over the line. It comes down the middle of the ice. Getting knocked off the puck with Lucy as he got taken down. Puck squirts for Hodges, who tries to pounce on top of it. I don't think he did, but the referee said he did, so that's a whistle. 3:45.
Yeah, it looks like it had came out just a little bit. literally, if you can time it, as soon as the ref blew his whistle, then it comes out. And that's always going to be a ticky-tacky thing, don't get me wrong. A lot of goaltenders will tell you that, but a lot of players obviously want it to come out loose. The goaltenders are very thankful when it gets blown dead like that, especially in a situation that was going in front of Tyler Hodges. So.
Well, that's a tough conundrum for a referee because you have to balance protecting the goalie while also don't want to be too quick with it. And now Bug gets knocked down away from the play. Somebody lost their glove as well. That's a Brahma at the blue line. It goes into the corner though. Evan Adams shoves the man off the puck. Squirts free, comes near side. Owen Case tracks it down, hits the brakes, and now will start to the right of his net. Leaves it off for Joe Semengo at the circles. Now between the circles, it's Birchfield up ahead for Griner. Griner will dump it in from the center red line. Only got to the blue line though. Savard's got a piece of it. Nolan Wildfong will play it back into the corner, comes near side. The Brahmas start to break out to center ice. Given away, here's Wildfong, drops it over the line. Shot there, turned aside by Hodges. Rebound goes off the side of the net as Wildfong tried to get one from an off angle. Eventually picked up by Owen Case as Birchfield knocks the man down away from the play. Bugs get it back behind the net. Semengo off to his left again for Owen Case. He'll snap it across for Adams. Adams up the near wing, the righty stick. Will dump it around a defender and win the foot race forward in the corner. Below the goal line absorbs a check from O'Keefe. The battle of the threes over there. Four-car pile up behind the cage. Now Sable's got it far wall. 2:40 to go, first period. Moving along here on this Sunday. This is up into the bench and out of play for a whistle. So an offensive zone draw coming up for the Bugs late in the first.
Of course, coming up a little bit later on with 2:40 actually to be exact, coming up in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. As part of the North Caddo Express Super Minute Show, I'll talk to Jared Griner. I haven't talked to him in a good minute, so it'll be good to hear from number 21, Jared Griner, who got the start tonight, the Victoria, Minnesota native. So good to talk to him as part of the North Caddo Express Loop first intermission show.
Face off on back to the blue line for Wilson. He spun off the puck. Lone Star's got a 2-on-1 developing here. Far side, Benton Sinkway down the slot, fires it, turned aside. Sable tries to backhand it through the crease. Eventually comes for Zach Wilson, who will play it off the wall, but not out of the zone. O'Keefe will pinch and hold in. He works to the bottom of the left circle. Gathering feet there, goes through the crease. Bounces far side off the wall to Lockrow, plays it below the goal line now. The Brahmas try to cycle something here offensive zone late in the first, but the Bugs will steal it away as Hoagland's got it far wall. Up ahead for Grayson, doesn't connect. He's going to win the foot range for icing as he dances around O'Keefe that time and also hit the net. DeLocro plays it near corner, looking for a play as he's got Bugs surrounding him on either side. Eventually goes towards the net, and Cray's got to pounce on top of it for a stoppage with 1:58 left on the first period clock. Good pace to this one early here. You never know what you're going to see when you start playing extra games in a weekend.
Oh, yeah. What, and not even that, just in a Bugs Brahmas game, really. I mean, obviously the third game in 3 days, obviously, is going to be a factor. But no, you don't know what type of pace game you're going to get when these two teams meet up. It can either be a blowout one way or the other, or it can be a close game, as we saw back in December when these two teams met here at Georgia's Ponticite Hirsch Coliseum. But yeah, I'll get to that sometime a little later on.
It's been a crazy series, tied up at 3. Sweep either way, and then the crazy weekend. Last time we headed to North Richland Hills. Bugs get the blowout victory Friday, and the Brahmans come back and they get a blowout victory on Saturday. This one goes towards the net. Gray's going to play it, leaves it off now for Grayson Cohen. You never do quite know what you get. And that Friday game at NITEC Sports Center had just 3 penalties, which nobody ever would have expected out of a Bugs Brahmas game. And Saturday, that was a different story out there as John Burt will flip it up the wall to center. It comes. Jackson Bates had it for a moment. Now it's stolen back by the Bugs. Eventually controlled by Mitchell Reed, starting to break out with 1:15 seconds to go in the period. Up ahead, it's touched into the zone over the blue line far side, but Grayson Cohen steals it away, and he'll work behind his net, slams the brakes, and hits the gas pedal the other way to the right. Up ahead, it's Bates. Bates down the center of the ice, leaves it off over the line. Shot there. Rebound comes out in front. Hodges didn't take a great angle to that one. Eventually comes over below the goal line. Far side it comes into the far corner. Vinny picks it up with 50 seconds to go. Stolen away by Bates. Bates passes it to himself off the boards, and then Evan Adams steals it away. Adams up the far side wall to the middle for Liam Wolf-Talby. Wolf-Talby drops it off, and he passed it backward at the blue line. And we saw that a couple of weeks ago, Duncan, for the Bugs. And again, when you do that, you're going to be offside.
Yeah, just a stutter step behind the play was Ryan Barrett, who who tried to get a goal similar to the one he had last night against Corpus. That was a really nice goal too, because it was part of the keys of the game that Coach Susan mentioned. Just trying to get those greasy goals, get it through traffic. But nonetheless, Ryan Baer just a stutter step behind and offsides.
So Birchfield wins the draw, but it goes between the D and all the way back down. Hodges plays it to the right of his net for Owen Case, who controls back of the cage now. Semengo comes on in to help. The Bugs will start a 4-player breakout here in the zone. Far side, it comes up the wall 22 seconds ago. Dumped in around the boards. Hops along below the goal line, eventually picked up by Tyson Scanlon. Scanlon starts a breakout for the Brahmas, moving right to left. Brought in over the line, 2-on-2, looking for a play down the slot. And the Bugs do a good job of holding it against the wall with 7 seconds. Chipped up ahead to center, tracked down by Biampus that time, sends it near side for Sable, who's just going to watch the clock run out. Sable takes the shove from Griner at the buzzer, and that'll do it for the opening 20 minutes here in Shreveport. Bugs and Brahmas have been in tight battles all season long, and right now Tyson Scanlon has been the difference. It's 1-0, and you know, as we kind of look back at that period, Duncan, good period overall for the Bucks defensively, except for that one giveaway that led to the Scanlon goal.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate part of the game when you give a turnover like that, especially right in front of the net. But Tyson Scanlon on the other side of things, it's fortunate for the Lone Star Brahmas as they found the unfortunate turnover. The Bucks committed and just got it right through. But but as we look back at this period, 10-6 shot-wise, so there is some life, there is some effort from this Bugs team. That's always good to see as the Bayou Kubota 4x4 comes out and takes the kids out for a ride on the inner tube. I've always wanted to do that, but I think it might be a little too big for that.
Well, you never know until you try, right?
Yeah, that is true, and I get the feeling some of the on-ice games tonight are going to be fun. I heard the rumor that there's going to be a Flip Cup game, and if you know anything about college and Flip Cup, well, I'll just let you hold that. I'll let you hold your breath on that, but I think that's coming next intermission now. But
alrighty, opening 20 minutes in the books here from Shreveport. The Brahmas have a 1-0 lead. We'll take a timeout. The North Decatur Express Loop first intermission show is on the other side here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Congratulations! You kept a plant alive another day. You deserve a refreshing reward. Introducing new Whataburgers from Whataburger. You finally returned a text. Thumbs up emoji. You hung up a shirt. You changed a light bulb. You walked the dog around the whole block. Attaboy, it's treat time. The new prickly pear raspberry Whataburger from Whataburger.
An icicle treat for every small feat. Whataburger.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke-flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
For the big, small, short, tall. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action.
1-0 Brahmas on top after the opening 20 minutes. We welcome you into our first intermission report, brought to you as always by our friends at the North Caddo Express Lube in Vivian, offering oil changes, inspection stickers, transmission services, and vehicle and key fob batteries. Mention the discount code MUDBUGS25, get 10% off your service. Call 318-375-5823. Good back and forth battle thus far. Teams took a little bit time to settle in, but eventually they got some of the offenses rolling. And the Brahmas, as you kind of look at them, Duncan, in that first period, you notice kind of what we're used to seeing with Lone Star. They're going to make you work to get into that offensive zone.
Oh, absolutely. They're just going to make you work and work and, well, work a little more. But in saying that, though, the pace so far, although it's been back and forth, it's been a slow back and forth. It just seems definitely like a slow. Now, granted, that also is attributed to the fact, again, 3 games in 3 nights. But a lot of coaches will tell you you can't let that be the driving force to the pace. So I get the feeling Jason Soupy Campbell, as well as Brett Smith, will obviously tell the guys that they can't let that affect them too much. And same thing with Dan Wildfong on the other side, because I get the feeling that's not exactly the period Mr. Wildfong wanted for the herd of Brahmas out there.
Absolutely. You never quite know what you're going to get, again, in these two matchups, varying matchups, even though they're the same teams. And it's kind of interesting. You see 6 games we've played. They've all been a little bit different. And it's just really interesting to me as a newcomer because of the way that the Bugs-Brahmas rivalry has been. It's not a new rivalry by any stretch of the imagination. And the teams have played the same style of hockey dating all the way back to their CHL days as well.
Yeah, as well as in the WPHL, the Western Professional Hockey League. Of course, they actually won the first Western Professional Hockey title before, well, the Mudbugs took the next 3. But and then, of course, the league merged with the Central Hockey League, and then that rivalry continued and stretched on until the Brahmas took a year hiatus off to kind of gain their footing back. And, of course, they moved over to North Richland Hills at the NITEC Sports Center. And then, of course, that's where the second part of this rivalry started. Of course, Dan Wildfong coming over from the Mudbugs. Of course, he was no slouch as a player. And, of course,
he's got his number up there in the rafters.
Yeah, I'm about to say there's a reason why he's got his number up there in the rafters. Of course, there's a reason why every player has their number in the rafters there. Dale Henry, Trevor Buchanan, Jim Sprott, Jason Soupy Campbell for that matter, and, of course, number 34, Ken Carroll. But nonetheless, once Fonger went over to North Richland Hills, well, that's when the second part of this rivalry really got started. Of course, the most notable part of that rivalry getting kicked off was the 2007-2008 first round Central Hockey League playoffs second round, because the Bugs had the Governor's Cup locked up, and then they played the Lone Star Brahmas in the second round, and the Brahmas actually surprised a lot of people, and they swept the Bugs there. And so that was on their way at least to, well, a good playoff showing, but not until the year afterwards when they won the President's Cup. The Brahmas did. But no, nonetheless, Zach, this rivalry has stretched back all the way to 1997, 1998, and it's just always going to be no love lost. And I get the feeling that this next period is going to ramp up and truly give us the Bugs-Brahmas experience as Cirrus by the Alan Parsons Project plays. You know, fun fact, I was watching Elimination Chamber from WWE last night, and CM Punk actually came out to this. He had the PA announcer for the Chicago Bulls do his intro. And if you're a kid from Chicago or you live in Chicago, you love the Bulls, you love CM Punk, you love that stuff. And speaking of which, Flip Cup, I was right. There is Flip Cup Extreme down there. But that will have to wait. But on the other side of this break, Zach, I'll talk to none other than number 21, Jared Greiner. So it'll be good to talk to him, good to hear from him, but that is on the other side of the break. Bugs trail us 1-0 over the Lone Star Brahmas. First intermission, you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Bugs Broadcast Network. Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata & Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantle and grills, they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Mr. Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Welcome back into the North Caddo Express Loop first intermission show, delivered to you by our friends at the North Caddo Express Loop in Vivian. Mention the discount code MUDBUGS25. Once again, that's MUDBUGS25 to get 10% off your order. Now joining me is Mudbugs forward number 21, Jared Griner. Griney, welcome in.
Thank you.
Griney, that's the new one. I was going to say Grind Show, but yeah, because Grind Show is what the boys call you. And then speaking of nicknames, first question I got for you, what's the weirdest nickname you've been called? I feel like I asked you last time we talked to you back in El Paso earlier in the year, but what's the weirdest nickname you've ever been called? Because surely there's some.
Yeah, I think I had a Grindstein one time. That was probably the most unique one. J-Man Sniper too. My first name's Jared, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so Grindstein, and what was the other one?
J-Man Sniper.
J-Man Sniper. Okay, I'm going to keep that in the lexicon. But nonetheless, J-Man, we come into tonight against the Lone Star Brahmas, who they themselves come in off a 6-2 win over the Oklahoma Warriors, which is an important game for the Bugs to watch as, staying in good position as we come down to the stretch of this regular season. But last night, we come off an excellent showing against the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, 4-1 win over the aforementioned Ice Rays. So, Jared, firstly, how do you think you did personally?
I thought it was just a average game. I mean, definitely this year I've been playing into more a defensive role, so I'm just doing what I can to help the team win. And yeah, if that's PK, D-zone, whatever that is, I'm just trying to help out. And yeah, it was nice to get the win last night.
Absolutely. And one of the coach's keys to the game, head coach Jason Soupy Campbell actually brought up to me before we went on the air was that aforementioned special teams battle. Scott Paraline power play, although not as successful as we wanted it was still, the effort was there, so that's a good thing. And of course, the first choice personnel penalty kill, as always, pretty successful, all things considered, just like you said, right? But nonetheless, but that is in the past. Today, we got the Lone Star Brahmas, the first place Lone Star Brahmas. So what's the game plan against these Lone Star Brahmas who, as I mentioned, coming off a trip from Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think the key is to just get on them early. I mean, they're coming from Oklahoma, like you said. That's a long road trip, especially three games in 3 days. I mean, we're a little tired too, but we've been at home the whole time, so we just got to get on them early, use that to our advantage, and definitely play physical, because I don't think they like it when we do that. And the games we've won, we've done that really well. We've used our speed, taken their D wide, and I think that's a weak point for them. So.
Oh, absolutely, and that's one of the main things I've noticed anytime, well, not only when we play Lone Star, but anytime anyone plays the aforementioned Lone Star Brahmas, anytime they go a physical game against the Brahmas, they seem to just kind of, not freeze, but it takes them a minute to get readjusted, and I'm assuming that's something, as you mentioned, that Coach Soupy and Coach Mitty, for that matter, want to get across the board.
For sure.
Absolutely. So, Jared, moving along here from the hockey side of things, for now at least, what's going on in the world of Jared Greiner outside of the rink?
These days, just been playing a lot of guitar.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of my main hobby, and I like to spend some time outside. It's been pretty sunny lately, so I've been enjoying that.
Oh yeah, it has been nice outside. And a guitar player, I did not know you played guitar. I about to say, when did you pick that up?
Last year around
Nice.
January, so it's been my main hobby for a while now. It's fun.
Nice. No, that's awesome. I didn't know you played guitar, and that's awesome. I love that. So, Jared, what does a home pregame routine look like for you as you take your sip of your finest white Monster Energy drink, also available at all Georgia Spawn inside Hirsch Coliseum concession stands? What does a home pregame routine look like for you? Because especially today, when usually on a Sunday we have it off, or we're coming back from a road trip, something like that. What does it look like for you on a normal home pregame?
I like to take it easy. I mean, just kind of chill out on the couch, eat some meals, keep it pretty light. Don't want it to be too heavy, but yeah, I'll take a walk or something. I'll go out and eat with my Philip Bros, Evan Adams, and Grayson Gerhardt, and take a nap. Not too long, 30 minutes to an hour, and just head to the rink.
Absolutely. And, speaking of your Billy Rose, Evan Adams and Grayson Gerhardt got on the score sheet not only the night before, back on Friday night, but he got on the point side of things on last night, assisting on Jeremiah Roberts' goal with 1:21 left in the second period. That was a fun game, and Remy Busateri with a nice empty net goal to see. I love seeing his goals fly through the air like that. But nonetheless, great show. I'm going to ask you one last thing, and then I'm going to let you get going here. What's the personal game plan for you tonight? I know, obviously, we've discussed the team game plan, but what's the personal game plan for you, Mr. Jared Greiner?
I think for me personally, just get my legs moving, because I'm best when I'm moving fast and I'm working hard, and I think just got to shoot the puck more, because I know I got a good shot. I just got to use it to the best of my ability and see where it goes. But yeah.
Oh, absolutely, Greiner. Well, as always, Mr. Jared Greiner, thank you for joining us here on the North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more here on this North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Broadcast Network.
Did you know that Shreveport Regional Airport offers more daily flights than any other nearby airport? Daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, and Houston means you're one stop from anywhere in the world. Make the short drive to Shreveport and start your vacation sooner.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area, and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke-flavored sausage, and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our sweet the swamp pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a sweep the swamp pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Remy Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Back here at Shreveport, Bugs and Brahmas. It's 1-0 Lone Star after the Opening goal of the game by Tyson Scanlon, coming 4 minutes into the game for his 12th of the season, has made it 1-0 after the break. And getting ready to start this second period here, Duncan. I don't think there's really an adjustment for either team to make. They've just kind of been playing their game, and it was really that one mistake by the Bugs. It's kind of changed the game a little bit.
No, absolutely. You get the feeling that these two, although might not make any major adjustments, don't get me wrong, they're not going to make any major adjustments. I get the feeling there's going to be some slight, very slight adjustments in saying that, because obviously you want to tighten up the defense to prevent any more of those turnovers, as we saw, that led to the Tyson Scanlon goal. Of course, Christian Vitacinque and Vladimir Sable getting the assist on that at 16:10 in the first. But otherwise, pretty good game so far. And as we get ready to get this second period underway, we'd like to remind you that Mudbugs hockey, as always, in this second period is brought to you by your friends at DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services. Personal matters, child custody cases, or internal theft problems within your business? Well, just call our main man, Jerry DeFata. Excellent conversationalist, by the way, at 318-635-9944 to discuss your case, or log on to defatapi.com. And Zach, like I said, Jerry DeFata, very nice man and very good conversationalist from what I heard.
Absolutely, yeah. We had him as our guest last night in the second intermission report. And long-time corporate partner of the Mudbugs, big Mudbugs fans as well, and there's a lot for the community in addition to that. So that's, as we always talk about, we kind of have a lot of great corporate partners, and Jerry and the team are definitely one of them as we get set here in period number 2. Zach Grant, Duncan Welker back here at George's Pond for this makeup game between the Bugs and the Brahmas. Bugs are back at home next weekend against the Odessa Jackalopes. We get to see them again, and finally, just like this game's a month overdue, we finally get to have our Mardi Gras party at the pond next weekend. So that is, again, much overdue as well.
I'm excited for that one. I love the jerseys, and I love the merch that comes with it, but nonetheless, Charlie Birchfield taking the face-off. Second period, Zach, let's get her going, brother.
Tyson Scanlon, lone goal scorer of the first. And the Bugs, for the second straight period, controlled the opening face-off of the frame as it goes far side. The Bugs started out for Griner. Griner up ahead far side, in over the line. Around the defender, that's Stampus in the corner, gets shoved off the puck. Eventually bounces free, still a 4-car pile up in the corner. Eventually banked off the wall for Capano. Capano can't stick it up the wall though, it's played back into the corner by the Bugs. Offensive end, now comes far side. Capano flips it off the boards to center. Running out of his skates, gets knocked down there as he runs into a Brahma, and Lone Star will control the puck. In their own net, it's Austin Peterson. Works up the near wall, dumps it in behind the cage. It's played by Semengo. Semengo will backhand it around the boards, comes near side. Picked up by the Bugs. Defensive end, it's Jared Griner with it. At his own blue line, snaps it across again for Semengo. Goes off for a change, does Joe, as it's played back the other way by Sable. Sable into the slot for Vates. Couldn't corral it cleanly. Now he gets it back below the goal line. Centering feed for Isaacson, who was calling for it. He's got it in the slot. Around 2 Bugs. Will drop it off for Vates. Vates, right circle for Talacro. Couldn't corral it cleanly. Gets a shot on net anyway for an off angle. Goes through the crease. Comes back far side. Played by McFadden. He'll wrap it around the boards. Bugs get it back. Defensive end. Minute and 20 seconds into this second period. 1-0 to score. Favor of Lone Star as it's played by Zach Wilson. Gives it far side for Mitchell Reed. He'll flip it up the wall towards the blue line and finally out of the zone as Talacro will immediately send it back in. That's the Brahma style there. They're going to make you work to get it across the red line as it's brought back in by Vates. Vates bottom of the right circle. Knocked off in the corner. The Let's Go Mudbugs chance starts here. Give away right out in front. Vates backhand a rebound. Lifts it just over the net. The rebound goes off of the back of Hodges, who was out of his crease to play it. And the Brahmas double up on the lead. It's 2-0. 2 minutes into the second period. It looks like Dylan McFadden is going to lead the team over to the handshake line. His 7th goal of the year. And the Brahmas are up 2.
We can handle it. Call A1.
Once again, another costly mistake there. That leads to a, well, I don't even think it was costly, don't get me wrong. But it's not a mistake that anyone wanted to make there. Tyler Hodges, he lost sight of the puck and it just kind of, it just gets through him. Fortunately, that leads to a 2-0 Brahmas lead with 18-14 left. Still a ton of hockey though, don't get me wrong though. So you just got to shake that off and move on for the Bugs.
Scanlon wins the face-off at center ice, leaves it off for Oliver. Goes D-to-D at his own blue line for Cohen. Far side brought in over the line by the Brahmas. John Burnt wins the foot race to it. He hits the brakes and splashes the snow up into the air in the far corner. Picked back up again. It's Sable. Sable hit hard by Burnt, knocked down in the corner. Brahmas bench wants a penalty, not going to get one as we roll on. Oliver sends a buck down. That's Ryan Baird who got hauled away. Now comes up the wall to the blue line, held in by Oliver. Into the slot it comes over Scanlon's stick. Bucks start to bring out the other way. It's Ryan Baird, far side. Will whack at it in over the line, right side. Into the offensive zone. Bucks come. Shot there. Whistles wide of the net. Goes all the way back out to center ice. And eventually it's tracked down by Owen Case, who jumps off the bench and races after to grab it. Works below his own goal line now behind the net. Off to the left side. Up the wall. It's intercepted by Tavares. Tavares down to the bottom of the right circle. For Scanlon, he lost the puck, flipped up, and Scanlon tries to glove it down to save it at the blue line. He can't. Ryan Barrett will wrap it around the boards now. Cray out of his net to play it, leaves it off behind the cage. Wrapped around the boards near side. The Brahmas do a very good job moving the puck in the defensive zone. That's another trademark of their game. Here's Jasser, forces a turnover up to the wall. Big tie-up behind the play there as Oliver getting cross-check from Barrett down there on the ice. Comes up the near wall again, back out to center ice. Brahmas will play it. Back into the Bugs end, flipped out now by Owen Case as he got a piece of it. They can't corral the loose puck though, and it goes towards Hodges. Played off to the left of the net. It's Sakrisky up the near wall. Sakrisky dances around a defender, lost the puck though. Brahmas had to tag up according to the linesman. Now comes back for Shane Sakrisky, and he gave it away right out in front. Gets knocked down. A big drive right in front on the doorstep. It's a costly turnover for the Bucks. And waiting to put it home for the Brahmas and extend the lead 3-1 is Jake Tavares, his fourth of the year. And another turnover in the defensive end costs the Bucks as Sakrisky got knocked down that time. The loose puck goes right in front of Tyler Rogers. So it's 2 goals in a minute 40 for the Brahmas.
It looks like Jake Tavares and then Nathan Murray will get the assist on that.
Again, it's Tavares' 4th goal of the year. He's got 4 points now, all of them of the goal variety. And Murray adds another assist. He's at 19 now on the year. 24 points overall as the Bucks control the face-off. Now they got to get the offense rolling. Maloney gives it far side, up ahead, stolen away by the Brahmas at center. Remy gets it back at his own blue line, sticks it off the wall up ahead to enter the zone, eventually banked out back to center. Musateri will go D-to-D at the circles, in his own zone. Left side for Remy. Gives it back across, goes off with Griner. The Bugs looking disheveled here with the defensive end. 16 minutes to go, second period. 3-0 Brahmas with the lead. Bugs will hang out behind the net now. Get all the pieces together. Griner cycles up the near wall, goes to the far side. Up ahead, it's touched at the red line by the Bucks. Brought in for a moment before the Brahmas able to sniff it out. Now it's dumped in by Nandor as he'll head off for a change. Cray out to play it, near side. Banked off the boards, up ahead, outlet pass. Waiting for it and couldn't stay on side that time. Was the Brahmas, that was Capano. He touches up on the late offside. That's going to be a whistle. Neutral zone draw coming up here at 15:32.
Special Sunday night concessions.
Soupy's trying to call for the face-off to come all the way down on an intentional offside. We've seen that called quite a few times the last couple of weeks. The linesmen are discussing it here. Capano tried to wait for it. He skated over the line, was delayed offside, then went and played it in the corner. Gerhard also taking up his game to the line. Now head coach Jason Soupy Campbell going to get an explanation here. Offensive zone face-off could be big for the Bugs in the way they've been on the face-off battle here this afternoon. Scanlon won that one for a moment. Mitchell Reed steals it away. Bucks get it back defensive end. Flipped up the far wall to center. Hoagland in over the line right side come the Bucks. Into the offensive end. Try to hit the trailer. Hoagland can't get it to him. Roberts leave it off to the blue line. Big drive there. Turned aside. Kick saved by Craig. Goes over to the near wall where it's picked up by Mitchell Reed. He'll turn and fire it into the corner. Roberts had to go off his stick. Scanlon plays it to center ice up ahead for Sable. Sable will drop it back at the blue line. Now for Tyson Scanlon to bring it in. It's shoved off the puck. Mitchell Reed plays it far side for John Burt. Burt flips up the wall to the blue line, not out of the zone. Held in by the Brahmas. Eventually Mitchell Reed gets it back again behind Hodges as he'll settle it down. 14:53 left to go, period number 2. Brahmas lead 3-0 over the Bucks here on this Sunday matinee, and Roberts will overskate at his own blue line, turns it over for Jackson Faith. was back up to center ice, and now it's brought in by Hoagland before he lost it at the blue line. Bugs bringing it again. Robert down the slot, whiffed on the shot. Gets it back to his stick, fires one. Burnt tried to tip home the one-time rebound on the doorstep, but the Brahmas able to start it back the other way again. Lone Star over the line. Scanlon deeks in the slot. His shot, or Isaacson rather, turned aside. Goes into the far corner. Rowan Case tracks it down. He'll wait for a play, and then he gets shoved off the puck by Isaacson. McFadden also in there to help for the Brahmas. Car pile up there in the corner as the puck is in the skates of Isaacson. Kicks it up to the center ice where the Brahmas will play it back in their own end. It's Oliver cycling at center. Oliver for Vates down the middle of the ice. Deeks around a defender. Walks down the slot. Vates' shot gets tipped away. And now the Bucks will start it to the blue line, but not out again as Isaacson forces the turnover. Here's Vates again. Left circle. Cycles up to the blue line. Gets knocked down there. It's Grayson Cohen's got it in the left corner. Flipped up to the blue line and trying to glove it down with Peterson. He did. Peterson sends it towards the net. Tried to get the tip for McFadden. That goes wide of his stick all the way back out to center. Grayson Cohen picks it back up. Near side wall for Peterson. Flips it into the zone. Just barely onside. Big hit delivered there as Tavares gets shoved off the puck. Karam's over to the far wall where Owen Case tracks it down near side now at the circles. Looking to start the breakout on defense to flip it up ahead toward the blue line. Barrett tries to glove it down. It goes off of a Brahma in front. That was again Peterson with it. Comes far side. Tavares will play it off the wall. Tavares streaks into the offensive zone. Dumps it in behind the cage. Owen Case gets a piece of it. But winning that battle there with Geller. Geller ties it up along the wall. He's got it back below the goal line. Geller cycles out to the middle. Tries to feed it to the slot. Bugs turn it away. Up ahead now, it's dumped in by Vinny DiUlio. Wrapped around the boards, comes back at the cage again. Cray will play it into the corner, stolen away by the Bucks. At the blue line, held in, but then the Brahmas chip it out to center. They've got a chance coming the other way. In over the line that time is Lucier. Goes down to a knee as he tries to pitchfork it at the net. Comes off to the side of the cage where Remy plays it, takes a check, but the Bucks will flip it up the wall to center. Here's Ryan Barrett to the right of the center circle. Barrett over the line, trying to hit a man in the slot. Lost it. Into the corner it goes. That's Remy battling for it. Brahmas will snuff it out. Lucier's got it again. Stolen away again, eventually by Sakrisky. Back to Remy, who's got it tied up. He's getting held onto there in the corner and trying to work free of the grasp of Maddox Talacro that time as a 5-car pileup. Everybody starts yelling around out here. Eventually goes back to the cage for Dampoose. Dampoose flips up the wall far side to center. Big hit there delivered as the Bug knocks the man down. Goes all the way back down. 8 minutes gone here in period number 2. 3-0 Brahmas with the lead. They'll start the breakout up ahead for Simon. Simon's over the line. Drops it off for Jasser in the slot. He lost off the edge of his stick, and it goes for Alexander Oliver. Plays the far corner. Wraps it around the boards to the near side. Bugs get it back offensive end. Off the bench, Poloni will stick it into the corner, but the Brahmas intercept it. They've got a 3-on-3 developing. All the way back down it comes. Poloni's going to win the foot race to it. Sable crashing in towards him. Flipped up the half wall, and the Bugs will poke it out to the blue line. Griner picks up the loose puck that time. Brought in over the line now. Simons drops it off in the slot. Going into the trailer, and Sable's got a 3-on-2 if he can get it going. Sable, far side for Scanlon. Looks like they were offside. They were. Linesman will have him tag up. Sakrisky will, or Semengo rather, will dump it in. Behind the cage, it's played again. Brahmas have it. Below the goal line, left corner, offensive end. Burnt steals it away. Gets a shot on net. Rebound comes out in front. Bucks had a couple of chances there trying to whack at it. But eventually, Brahms able to snuff it out to the blue line. Held in by Griner just barely down the slot. He couldn't save it. Now Sable's got to break away the other way. Sable down the slot looking for a shot. Gets hauled down. There's no call as the puck squirts towards Hodges, who covers up for a whistle. Our first whistle in a while. With 10:59 brings us to immediate timeout. 3-0 Brahmas here at midway through the second on the Bucks Broadcast Network.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Remy Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
3-0 our score. Brahmas on top of the Bugs. 10:59 left in the second period on this Sunday. Bugs are back at home next weekend against the Odessa Jackalopes. 7:11 p.m. puck drop Friday, Saturday. Get your tickets now by logging on to tickets.com. at georgespond34.com. And if you've got a group of 10 or more, you can get tickets for just $10 each. Call the front office 318-636-7094 to book your group today at any of our future home games. And we're headed down the stretch, Duncan. Not too many home games left, but thankfully for the Bugs, the latter part of the schedule is mostly at home, just 2 road trips left.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, one of those home trips as our McKay Consulting hometown hero gets honored, Matthew Dixon. Love to see it.
Good applause here from the crowd at George's Pond. Still filing in on this Sunday afternoon, but got a lot of them filing in here at the start of the second period, but they watch McFadden and Tavares score goals. 3-0 Brahmas. And, you know, we kind of talked about at the open of the game, got to play a smart game if you're the Bugs. And all 3 of those goals have been right off of turnovers in front of Tyler Hodges, because Hodges doesn't let a lot of goals go by him unless he's kind of set up at that disadvantage as the Brahmas win the face-off. Offensive end is Isaacson. Circles to the blue line for Talacro. Back for Isaacson. Top of the right circle. Snaps it back up. Talacro one-time drive. Missed it. Hodges almost fell down, and the Brahmas get a good chance there. And now everybody got to start meeting as the fireworks have been quiet thus far. But now it's starting to heat up as the Bugs hit a little bit of desperation here in the second period as Adams will step in as Semengo starts throwing some right hands in the pile there. And that'll draw a whistle with 10:47 left to go.
You know, speaking of Evan Adams against the Lone Star Brahmas, last time we faced these Lone Star Brahmas, a heck of a scrap there from Evan Adams.
But, you know, it's funny, we talked about that the next weekend, and Evan Adams is not a player that's going to fight a lot.
Oh, but when he does, whoo, maybe.
One of 5 Bugs this season with their second year on the roster. He had a good weekend a couple of weekends ago, and also named Plaza Booster Club Sweetheart for Valentine's Day. Now Dan Wildfong talking to our referee here.
Dan Wildfong? Not a sweetheart. No, I'm kidding. He's outside of the bench, he's a nice guy, and now Jason Soupy Campbell is going to get an explanation from both head referee and linesman. So now we'll see what develops. Okay.
Yeah, not sure what all that was about, but we're back to hockey. Our offensive zone draw for the Brahmas. They win it, but the Bugs steal it right back as it's picked up far side. Poloni dances around a defender. Nice move for Nander that time. He is no stranger to playing hockey. He's got a lot of international experience as well. Brought in over the line left side, playing for Team Hungary. And Andor will track it down, works below the goal line, flips it up the wall. This outlet pass is going to be washed out. Icing. It was going to be won by Ryan Baird anyway, streaking down the slot. And Cray had to backhand it to the wall to make sure Ryan didn't have a scoring chance. And, well, Baird got a goal against Amarillo 2 weekends ago, doing that exact thing, beating out icing calls. Now the Brahmas will start a 3-player breakout. Up the near side, it's Talacro. And over the line, just barely onside. Dumps it towards that. Isaacson gives chase. He's got it back of the cage. Flipped up the wall again into the slot. Bugs will turn it out of the defensive end. Far side it comes. That pass doesn't connect. Eventually controlled by Lone Star again. Gets shoved off the puck that time with Austin Peterson. We called his name quite a bit. The newcomer to the Brahmas. He's played 38 games overall this year. 14 points in total. 2 goals, 12 assists. During the Brahmas a few weeks ago. Roberts saves it at the blue line. Into the slot it comes, but the Hoagland can't get it cleanly. Now he'll move it to open ice. Big drive there. Turned aside from Gerhard. Batted down in the slot, picked up by the Brahmas, and now lifted out of the zone and all the way down. Enough for an icing call with 9:29 left here in the second.
Of course, all icings this season are brought to you by our friends at Louder Baking Company. Once again, that's Louder Baking Company.
9:29 left here. 3 goals for the Brahmas thus far. Scanlon got one 4 minutes into the game, and then McFadden and Tavares got a minute and 40 seconds apart early in the second. Made it 3-0 where we stand currently. As Talacro will control the defensive zone draw for the Brahmas. Drops it off in the far corner. Played by Lucier. Lucier flips it out to center ice. Gerhard gloves it down to his stick. Brahmas almost forced a turnover in the zone, and they do so successfully. It's gloved down. Turn and fire shot there. Lucier picks up the rebound. Behind the net, he'll slap it up the wall. Big drive there for the left point. Turned aside by Tyler Hodges. Comes near side, picked up by Peterson. Peterson wraps it around the board. Zach Wilson steals it away for the Bugs. He will just kind of cradle it up to his man, but it's turned over in the slot. It comes. Big drive there. Rebound. trying to poke it free was Lucier. Rebound comes off the side of the net, and Hodges, that's the second or third time we've seen him out of position here tonight. Turned over at the blue line again. That drive is stopped in front. Wilson whacking at it, tries to poke it out, held in by the Drama. They shoot. It was tipped in front. I think Tyson Scanlon got a piece. It goes top shelf, glove side on Hodges, and it's 4 goals now for the Brahmas. They lead 4-0.
Just a tip in there from number 24 for the Brahmas. That's, of course, Denver Dampu, so he'll make another tally there for the Brahmas.
Yeah, looks like they'll give it to him. The referee was asking the Brahmas. Scanlon looked like he tipped it on the doorstep, and now referee's talking about who wants the goal.
Looked like for a second that Ethan Phillips might be brought into the game. We'll have to see if that develops at some point, because, well, although I will say, though, with Jason Soupy Campbell, he likes to have his goalies try to battle back from things. And that's not always a bad thing, but it depends on what occurs in these next 8 minutes and rolling.
Yeah, Tyler Hodges has been a consistent workhorse this season. He's done really well, has a 909 save percentage of .271 goals against. So now it's brought in by Isaacson. Far side to the circle, in the slot, hit the trailer, trying to get it back for Isaacson. Couldn't corral it cleanly as Hodges had to dive to try to save it. Comes back in front of Hodges for the Bucks defensive end. But again, he's been solid all season, Duncan, but this is really the first game that he's just been kind of off early on. He just doesn't look as comfortable as he normally does between the pipes out there. This is dumped in over the line for Cohen. Cohen gives it near side. Oliver drops it back for Cohen. So they will give it to Dampoose that time. It's brought in by the Bucks for a moment. By the way, that's goal number 8 of the year for Dampoose. 24 points overall. Brahmas hold on to it. Offensive end working in the slot. Getting tripped up there was Vates. Rebound comes off the side of the net. Somebody's stick went flying as it broke. That was the man who shot at Jackson Vates. The Bucks will clear it down. This is going to go for an icing whistle, so they won't be able to get fresh bodies out there with 7:43 left here in the second.
Of course, as always, Shreveport Mudbugs hockey brought to you by our friends at Johnny's Pizza House. Johnny's Pizza House, let's share a slice of the best pizza in town, as well as Coors Light. Coors Light, made to chill.
Face-off comes far side here. Offensive zone for the Brahmas after the Bugs icing. Linesman getting everybody set up here. As we wait, it's suspended animation. There's the puck. It goes back to the blue line, left point. Brahmas have an offensive end. Stolen away by the Bugs. They're wrapping around the boards. Comes near side for John Burnt. Watches it to his stick, then takes the check in the right corner there. John Burnt tries to knock a man down. Now goes for Adams. Back up for Johnny. Burnt's got it. Flips it off the boards. Goes out to center. Talacro will glove it down at the center logo. He's got to wait for everybody to get back on side. Talacro dances around a defender. Lost the puck, though. Jason Simons pokes it ahead to the blue line. Brought in by Chase Sakrisky before he heads off for a change. And picked up again by Talacro. Works off to the left of the net. Down the center of the ice. Looking for a play. The righty stick will go to the right. It's played for Luxell. Up into the zone it comes, right in front of Hodges. Bugs will get it back. 7 minutes to go. Second period. 4-0 Brahmas on top in this Sunday evening game, rather. Get the Bugs back at home next weekend to face off against Odessa once again. They saw the Jackalopes 2 weeks ago at home. Now Sabo gets stripped up at center. Will backhand it towards his own blue line. Staying onside is Scanlon as he was doing the splits out there, trying to stay in contact with the blue line. Eventually played back out to center. Talacro will go D-to-D at his own blue line now as the Brahmas work left to right in his frame. Gets a shot on net from center ice there as the icing is washed out. As Hodges had to play it. Owen Case flips up the wall far side for Wolf Talby. Wolf Talby with the dance at the center circle. Now up ahead now for John Burnt. John Burnt over the red line now across the blue. Dekes into the slot, lost the puck. He's got to chase it into the corner, picked up by Dampoose. He'll take a check. Flipped up the wall now for Vetasinkwe out of his own blue line. Will play it to center ice. Right of the center circle. Dumps it in, wraps around the boards. The far side where Poloni will track it down. Nando makes a couple of nice moves to get around the pair of Brahmas defending him. They can't get out of the zone as Dampoose holds it in, and now it looks like it was a hand pass, so that'll draw a whistle at 5:56 left here in the second. Soft comes back down here, right into the neutral zone. Charlie Birchfield back out there, the newcomer for the Bugs, which, again, as we mentioned, Brett Smith said he had the true heart of a Mudbug out there after joining the team, and he said that he wishes that Charlie would have been here earlier on in the season just to see what he could do, and he's made a instant impact on the lineup. He's got 15 points overall. He scored his first goal against Odessa. It was also his first goal since January 10th, so the Bugs got him on the board. Also had a couple assists in the Jackalope series. Was held off the scoreboard against Corpus, but he got on the scorecard other ways, mixing it up out there, being the physical presence that they love to see. As Brahmas will start it out as Wildfong tries to bank it up the wall, held it at the blue line by the Bugs momentarily. Before it comes all the way back into their own zone. Track down, Bugs starting to break it out here with Birchfield up the near wing. Charlie will dump it in, gets a shot on net out of it as it's kicked aside. Birchfield grabs the loose rebound again. In the near corner, wraps around the board's far side. At the point, held in by Wilson. Wilson toes the line, dances around Vates. Wilson down to the bottom of the circle, leaves it off. Big drive there. Birchfield trying to whack at it. He'll take a couple of cross checks at the whistle as Griner also mixing it up in the slot. And now Birchfield grabs the hold of Dampoose. He's trying to get someone to drop the gloves with him. Birchfield wants to fight. Nobody's wanted to fight him thus far, but we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to see Birchfield's first fight as he'll head off to the bench with 4:58 left in the second.
Yeah, there's been a few flare-ups, but nothing really physical out of this. It's almost as odd as that Friday night back in North Richland Hills, Texas, so that last series. It's interesting. You know, some people would say it's the referees just wanting to letting them play on. Other people would say it's just the referees wanting to get out of here as quick as possible. But just an interesting play so far as the Bugs win the face-off.
That's Adams in the far corner. Wilson trying to call plays. Now he's got it. Tees up a drive, pulls the trigger, and a shot gets pushed aside. Rebound comes up the half wall again. Top of the left circle for Sakrisky. He'll bank it off the wall, back for Wilson. Wilson can't corral it cleanly. Jackson Vates picks it up. He'll pass it to himself around Hoagland, but Evans going to win the battle as he'll backhand it to the blue line, held in by McFadden. Now Isaacson's got it, bottom of the right circle, back up top. Big drive there, turned aside. Went off of Hodges, that was Cohen with a shot. Rebound comes on net, and Hodges will pounce on top of that one for a whistle with 4:26. But yeah, now it's so fascinating as we've kind of been mentioning all games. The series against Lone Star, you get the backyard brawl, and then you get the we're just going to play hockey out here. And you know, I have a feeling as you look at this one, 4-0 to score in the second on a Sunday. It's frustrating for everybody to be out playing, and you almost see a complacency out there early on for both teams.
Absolutely. And well, speaking of guys who can get physical if needed, Zach Wilson, as we saw him teeing up that shot on Brady Craig. He has a blistering shot. I love to see it.
Yeah, he's got some power on a few of them. He's created a couple of goals for him as well. This one's wrapped around the boards. Comes far side for Tavares in the left corner. Shoved off the puck. Below the goal line, it comes near side now. The Bugs will tie a man up the wall. Shreveport trying to clear it out. Unable to do so thus far here on this possession as the Brahmas are able to pinch and hold it in again. Lexell into the slot. Again, drive for Tavares. His follow through caught. DiUlio up high. Now flipped back into the zone by the Brahmas. Bugs get it right back. Owen Case off to the right of his net will work behind the goal cage. 3:50 to go, second period. 4-0 Brahmas on top. But this is going to be sent all the way down, and delayed icing call that time. But we do get the icing call nonetheless with 3:44 left on the second.
That was an interesting icing call. It took like a second to be called as a broken stick gets handed off to honorary assistant coach Chris Lane. So, and looking at that broken stick there for a second, this is where the equipment manager side of me comes out. It broke right at the blade. It broke at the blade. You know, sometimes it'll break in half, or sometimes it'll break in a weird spot, but it just broke right at the blade. So.
Like a driver
on
the golf course, where the head just goes flying further than the ball. Don't ask me how I know.
I won't. Well, not yet anyway. not yet anyways.
Off to the left side, the Bucks start to break out. 3.5 to go here in the second. Up ahead, it's Simons who touches it into the zone, comes far corner. Bucks get it back below the goal line. Talacro shoves the man off a puck, comes far side. Now the hitting starting to pick up here. Mitchell Reed tries to hold it in. It's played out by Sable. Sable tries to dance around Remy. And Remy, with his tall frame, is going to win the race to the puck, but he turns it over right in front for Scanlon. Lost the puck, goes on net off a Bug. And then Wolf Talbot provides a screen to the Hodges is able to cover up. And then Liam will go have some words with Ventusique to draw a whistle with 3:08. Sonic drive-in, second intermission show coming up after the Second period, we'll have Duncan Welker having a sit down.
With Nandor Polonier, actually. You know, and fun fact, Zach, he actually has a special talent that I'll be honest, I don't think a lot of people knew about him. As you know, as I talked with Jared Greiner, he picked up the guitar last year. He told me, and I'll save it for the next 303 and rolling for what the hidden talent of one Nandor Polonier has picked up.
Well, you got to have a hidden talent.
Oh, yeah.
If the road trips are long as Lucier brings it in, hits the brakes at the top of the left circle. He cycles into the high slot, leaves it off for Peterson. Peterson drive, one-time rebound, goes just wide. Hodges again out of his crease to play it. Dampoose lifts one wide, takes a weird hop off the boards in the corner. Flipped in by Peterson, he takes a high hit as he readjusts the helmet that time. 2.5 to go, second period. The Bugs will settle it down back of the net. Looking for a breakout play up the near side for Wolf Talby. Wolf Talby off the boards for Sakriski at center. Chase will dump it in, goes wide of everybody's stick as Isaacson tracks it down. He turns it over, high slot, Burt drive. Kick save that time. Rebound comes out for Johnny left circle. He's harassed off the puck by McFadden, plays it up ahead. As a little bit of friendly fire there with Roberts, tripped over Birchfield, and the puck comes into the far corner. Offensive end for the Bugs. Griner tries to throw it to the middle. Intercepted by Lone Star. They'll flip it off the board to the blue line. Owen Case will glove it down to his stick and hold it into the zone. At the left point, it goes into the corner now. Puck getting tied up there with Birchfield, and he grabs the puck with his glove, which is a penalty, but he gets away with it that time. Now they're mixing up. Vase is going after Griner. Those two will separate. One-time blast from Case goes off a man in front. He's slow to get up. That's McFadden centering feed right out in front. Pushed just wide. They had it set up perfectly for Roberts, and he just missed it. Brahmas get it back. They'll lift it out of the zone all the way up ahead. Not going to be enough for icing as Adams is going to have to play it at the circles. He gets around Isaacson to play it. Up ahead at their own blue line come the Bugs. Starting to break out as Birchfield gets put off the puck, and then he gets hit. A little bit of inadvertent contact there from Tavares, and Birchfield's going to have to go for a chain. Far wall it comes. 1:14 to go. Centering feed goes up to the blue line. Wilson waits for it. He pulls the trigger. His shot gets blocked, and he knocks a man down right there at the blue line. The physicality picking up here late in the second. High slot Semengo off to the right circle. Big drive in front. A rebound comes out. Crave dives backwards, spins around, and lays on his stomach to grab the puck and keep it out with 59 seconds to go. And another meeting of the minds here behind the net. And now somebody's getting a penalty. Looks like the Bugs are going to be shorthanded. And they are.
That'll be Joe Semengo going in. Although, don't get me wrong, on the other side of things, Brady Craig with a sprawling save to keep his team up by 4 in this game. So we'll have to find out here in a matter of seconds what Joe Semengo is going into the box for. First penalty of the game, actually. Will be roughing on Joe Semengo. All right.
Well, referee trying to keep control before things go haywire as the physicality picking up here late in the second. It was a really calm first, let's say 35 minutes or so. Then the last couple of minutes, it's been kind of crazy out there. 59 seconds to go. First kill of the game for either team, and it's slapped down immediately by the Bugs. And the Bugs penalty kill comes in at 84.8. They had a great weekend against Corpus Christi. Went 6 of 6. Perfect on the weekend. Power play did not have similar fates as they went 0 for 9, but Lone Star's power play comes in 4th in the North American Hockey League at 25.5%. This one's turned back out by the Bugs, and the Brahmas haven't even been able to get in the offensive zone quite yet on this power play. Now it's scored towards the net. Hunt is calling for an icing, but Remy's got to play it in front of the goal line, and it goes all the way off the Brahmas, who played offside, so that'll draw a whistle. But yeah, Lone Star's power play 25.5%, 4th in the North American Hockey League. And this is a good chance for them to try to extend that lead with 24 seconds to go in the second.
Well, just got to find out as things lay as Dan Wildfong is relaying a powerful, hearty message to his boys. And speaking of hearty and powerful, Buffalo Wild Wings, proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports. Also, site of our next Fireplace Specialties Coaches Show, the Buffalo Wild Wings on Airline Drive next Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Zach, it'll be a fun time.
Absolutely. We had a great showing for the first 2 weeks. Hoping to see everybody out there. The Buffalo Wild Wings as Griner spins a man off the puck. That was Tavares, eventually controlled by Peterson. The Brahmas start a 5-player breakout up ahead for Tavares, and he gets hit by Owen Case as he stands as a brick wall the last couple of weeks. Comes back out to center, and that's going to do it for the second 20 minutes. So a tough second frame there. Duncan featuring 3 goals for Lone Star, McFadden, Tavares, and Dampoose. But all of those, again, on turnovers by the Bucks.
Yeah, turnovers a constant by this Bucks team in that period. And don't get me wrong, even when it didn't lead to goals for the Brahmas, they were still constant turnovers, something that this team has been repeatedly asked to avoid. Now, obviously, turnovers are going to happen, but turnovers, the turnovers that have occurred have just not been, it's just been one of those things. I can't even come up with the words for it. Turnovers are costly. That's why it's 4-0 Brahmas right now, as both teams head off. The T-shirt cannons start to fire.
We've got another standoff developing here. The Brahmas head off the ice, and the Buck wait and staring him down over there. Looks like Jonah Jasper, but now he'll head off to the locker room here as the Brahmas and the referees exit the ice. Second period is finished here. 3 goals again for the Brahmas. McFadden, Tavares, Dampoose. It's 4-0 after 2. Back in a moment here on the Bucks Broadcast Network.
Congratulations! You kept a plant alive another day. You deserve a refreshing reward. Introducing new Whataburgers from Whataburger. You finally returned a text. Thumbs up emoji. You hung up a shirt. You changed a light bulb. You walked the dog around the whole block. Attaboy, it's treat time. The new prickly pear raspberry Whataburger from Whataburger.
An icicle treat for every small feat. What a burger.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty and flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage, and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
For the big, small, short, tall. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action.
4-0 Brahmas after 2/3 of the way home here on the second intermission show, driven to us by our friends at Sonic Drive-In. This is Howie Sonic. Tough afternoon, rather, for the Bucks. Couple of costly turnovers that led to some Brahmas goals. And as the second intermission report continues here, our Duncan Welker is going to sit down with Ninder Polonia, talk about his international experience for Team Hungary and kind of all about Nandor, one of our good friends here at the Bucks.
Second intermission show delivered to you by our friends at Sonic Drive-In. Sonic Drive-In. This is Howie Sonic. Now joining me is Mudbugs defenseman number 17, Nandor Polonia. And Polo, welcome back in.
Thank you.
Of course. Now welcome back for the third time exactly. And speaking of things involving the number 3, third game in 3 nights. Gosh, for not only us, but for tonight's opponent, the Lone Star Brahmas. But of course, last night we get the 4-1 win over the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, and as we approach the last few games of the regular season, of course, Lone Star still in first, El Paso second, New Mexico third, aforementioned Ice Rays fourth, and then we are actually in 5th place due to us having a game in hand over the Oklahoma Warriors, so that's good. Of course, Oklahoma is in 6th technically. Then Odessa 7th and Amarillo 8th. So really, Polo, what is the game plan coming in tonight against a Lone Star Brahmas team that is just as equally as maybe as equally as tired as we are tonight.
Yeah, obviously when you get tired, when you get exhausted, you just gotta make it simple. Like the whole game, you just gotta make simple plays, move the puck, dump it, chase it, and retrieve it. You just have to play simple because you get gassed way quicker, and your brain is not gonna function as well. You're not gonna be able to make the good decisions if you're gassed. So just make the good plays, short shift, just keep it buzzing.
Absolutely. And as for last night's aforementioned game against the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, Bugs won that one rather, 4-1. Of course, Ryan Barrett got on the score sheet first. Liam Wolf-Talby, Jeremiah Roberts in the second. Yes, and then Remy Pusateri in the third with his long stride of a empty net goal. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, Polo. I like seeing those. What about you? When Remy scores those empty net goals from almost 200 feet out.
Oh yeah, it's kind of weird how he's like. Just like scoring all the empty net goals, stealing it from the boys.
No, it's great. I
mean,
mean,
it's good for him.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good for him. Pusateri, though, a laundry list of penalties last night, including one to Duke Gerhardt, who will be serving a 1-game suspension. So it'll be interesting to see how the forward side of things shift up. Of course, obviously, you're back in the lineup tonight. Back in the lineup tonight against, like I mentioned, the Lone Star Brahmas, who. As for them, they come into tonight off a 6-2 win against the Oklahoma Warriors, and I hate to say it, but they've clinched a playoff spot. So that's one of the things that I think. Polo, what do you think? How do you think that affects a team when they clinch a playoff spot like that? What do you think goes into a team's mindset like that the rest of the way through the regular season?
To be honest, a lot can happen, like to what they think, and. I would say, like, if, like, a normal person would see this, they would think that they're gonna, like, let it go, like, they don't care anymore, but they still want, like, they're still out there for blood, so, and everyone wants to take out the top dog in the division as well, so it's good for us, good for them. They want to beat us, we want to beat them, and we'll just see how tonight goes.
Oh, absolutely, and speaking of wanting to beat them, the last time we took on these Lone Star Brahmas back in North Richland Hills, Texas, Interesting turn of events, of course, on that Friday night, February 6th, 2026 game, 3-0 win. And then on the Saturday night, Polo, a game I think we'd all like to forget from the Mudbug standpoint side of things. But moving along from that, Polo, let's get away from the hockey side of things for a little bit. Nando Poloni, what's going on in your world?
Everything's going well. Weather is getting nicer and nicer, which I like. Started going fishing with the boys and stuff after practices, so it's a good time to recover and build a better team.
Oh, absolutely. Team bonding is definitely one of the more important things. And I'm not gonna lie, Nandor, I did not take you for a fisherman. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I just started, so I'm new to it as well. Okay. But Chase and Jasser are teaching me. They're very experienced fisher. They know everything, so it's good to learn from them. Oh,
absolutely. And of course, Louisiana has some of the most beautiful spots to fish in, and so
for sure.
I can absolutely imagine especially Jonah Jasser, who's been here for a minute, can definitely teach you both on how to get in there. But fish, but Nando Poloni, the fisherman, you know what? I like that. I like that. Is that something you want to take back to you with Hungary as you go back home into the off season?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why I bought a 2-piece rod, so I can just take it home, get my license done in Hungary, and go fishing with my friends back home because they're big fishers as well, so might as well go with them.
Oh no, absolutely. You know what? That's awesome, Nando. I love that for you. How about say, what's the biggest catch you've had so far?
Water. Nothing.
Just one? Nothing?
Yeah, nothing. I've gone a couple times, but every time no one caught anything. Chase and Jasser caught a couple of crappies, but nothing much basically, so yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. No, but that's interesting, Nando. But moving along from the fishing side of things now, Nando, what does a normal home pregame routine look like for you? And I ask that because, obviously, we haven't had that many home games. Obviously, now we have. We've been home not only last weekend, been home this weekend, and then, of course, we're home once again next weekend against the Odessa Jackalopes. What does a home pregame routine look like for you?
Well, it always depends on what day it is, but it's kind of similar thing. So Friday, it's a pregame skate. And then I just go to Chipper with the boys and eat some good stuff and go home, take a nap, eat again, and then just take off to the rink. And Saturday night is the same thing, except for the pregame skate is a dyno in the morning, so it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, and then Sunday, which I'm not gonna lie, I think we've only had one other Sunday game. It was all the way back around the state fair time, so that's interesting as we roll on. Sitting with me rather is Mudbugs defenseman number 17, Andor Poloni. Now, Polo, I'm going to ask you two more things and let you get going. Firstly, what does the Nandor Poloni meal at Chipotle look like?
For sure, burrito, white rice, no beans, chicken, no queso, lettuce, cheese, and sour cream.
I'm about to say, do you get a thing of chips with it or no?
No, just the water cup. That's it.
Okay. And now the question is, what do you put in that water cup?
Water.
Water?
Yeah,
Okay.
just water. I don't like anything
No,
else
I know.
before the game. So.
I know. No, and that's why I kind of ask, because I know some guys will just, they'll say, oh, I'm getting the water cup.
Oh, yeah. For sure, I thought about it before, but if I get a water cup, I'm drinking water.
No, absolutely. It's definitely important to stay hydrated, especially as we get into these later months here down here in Louisiana. Don't get me wrong, it's warm, but it's only going to get warmer from here in Nandor. Well, Nandor, I got one last thing for you. I'm going to let you get on going. So, what is the personal game plan for you tonight, Mr. Nandor Poloni, as we come in against these Lone Star Brahmas?
Obviously, just keep buzzing and stuff, bring energy, skate a lot, make some good plays. I like doing that as a D-man, just solving problems. It's basically what it's all about. And I just like helping the team to win. That's basically everything.
Yeah.
The main thing is helping the team to win.
Absolutely, having the team to win and having a consistent team effort. One of the things that Jason Tupi-Campbell was talking about was the penalty kill and power play, special teams battle, wanting to win those. Penalty kill obviously looks good as always, and of course you're going up against Lone Star, one of the top power plays in the league. So it's interesting to always see those matchups.
Yeah.
But well, Nandor, that's all I got for you this time. Thank you for joining me here on the Sonic Drive-In Second Intermission Show.
Thank you very much.
Of course, buddy. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more here on this Sonic Drive-In Second Intermission Show. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Broadcast Network. Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata & Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantle and grills, they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Mr. Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Mudbugs Second Intermission Report brought to you by our friends at Sonic Drive-In. This is how we Sonic. So, 4-0 Brahmas after 2 periods of play here on this Sunday night. Again, Bugs are back in action next week at home against the Odessa Jackalopes for 2 games there. Yeah, this is normally a great time to look at the out-of-town scoreboard in the North American Hockey League, but we are the only game tonight, so we don't get to look at any out-of-town scores because there, quite frankly, are none. So here is, as the second division report rolls on, courtesy of the North American Hockey League, here are the top 10 goals of the season thus far, with a couple of notable entries for the Bugs and the Browns. Now takes the hop in front, and it's picked up. And here we go. Jeremiah Roberts, after not making a trip last week, into the slot, dekes around two, top shelf, bottle pops and scores. Jeremiah Roberts puts the Bugs up by 2 in the opening 4 minutes and 57 seconds of this one.
Now there's your bottle popper. I mentioned Vinny DiUlio's goal last week. I thought it was a bottle popper. It wasn't, but there it was right there from Jeremiah Roberts.
Ice arena that they've been at since 2009, since the team opened for business, and a goal for Brendan Finley on the power play. All the Wendigo CR7s here in Janes, Vegas. They lead it by a handful.
Tough power play right now to look at. Here's Byrne. Oh, good stick, toe drag, shot toward the net. He scores! Johnny Byrne delivers yet again. What a move through the middle. He danced through the slot, and Burns Hughes with a power play tally. Low to high, centered. Haruza, too hard on that pass, right off of his stick, chipped down low. Matsby, no look pass. Haruza through the legs. Oh my goodness! Are you kidding me? What even was that?
Save, rebound to the far side, kept by Pikic. Down low it goes. Big hit by Zugek, absolutely buried the defenseman. Shot, tip, it's in! Wickland with the redirect. And the lead is 5-3.
Up to Trumpeter there. Weigel out of the net. Stops with it. Shoots it down the ice. Off the glove of Ruiz. It's bouncing. It's in. Holy smokes! Kai Weigel, the goalie goal with 46 seconds left on the clock. You have got to be kidding me!
No way, Isaac! I don't believe what I just saw! Kai Weigel, we knew he was an excellent puck handler. We knew he could carry it well. He's like the third defenseman out there.
Oklahoma zone now coming across. Capano with the interception. Now Isaacson. This is danger for Oklahoma back. And just like that, what did I say? Danger for Oklahoma. That's a line you don't leave to just casually skate around your zone, and that's got to be the end of Billy Stutsky for tonight.
Open ice, leads the right side. Ziski into the zone, got the Vita cutting toward the net. Ziski's in on a breakaway between legs. Oh, he scores! Are you kidding me? Noah Ziski! What a goal! Ryan up the wall. Loose puck settled in the middle of the ice by Rowan. Finds Luke in front. Through the legs. He scores! It's the beat-all connection with the through the legs. Top shelf. Gino from the Wolverines' top scorer. This game's tied at 3.
That was nasty. Absolutely disgusting from Luke Beadall.
That shot takes deflection. Big rebound. Kish shot saves Silverberg. Scrambling. Kish still with it. Another shot. He scores! And did he just complete a Michigan on that goal? It's 3-2 Oklahoma. A huge one. And Dominic Kish, a highlight reel goal. It's 3-2.
Let's take a look at that. I'm surprised they said it was a goal at all.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Ramesh Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Tonight's third period is powered by Delta Utilities. Know what's below. Call 811 at least 48 hours before digging any projects. Delta Utilities, proudly serving the Shreveport-Bossier community. Know what's below. 4-0 our score in favor of the Lone Star Brahmas as we start the third and final frame here of regulation tonight at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum. The only game across the entire North American Hockey League on this Sunday. Making up the games, we'll take a look at how this game got to this point. Back in the first period, 4 minutes in, Tyson Scanlon scores his 12th goal of the year. Christian Venton-Cinque with his 18th assist. Vladimir Sable with his 13th. That made it 1-0 Brahmas. Then a trio of goals in the second period. The first unassisted from Dylan McFadden, his 9th. 2 minutes in. 2 minutes after that, Jake Tavares adds his 4th, and Nathan Murray gets his 20th assist on that goal to 16:32 mark of the second. Before the final goal for the Brahmas came with Denver Dampoose, his 9th of the season, Tyson Scanlon, and Vincenzo Capano with the assist at the 8:39 mark of that second period. That makes it 4-0 where we stand. Interestingly enough, just one penalty on the board. Joe Semengo went for roughing, and he's still in the box for another minute and 1 second. So the Brahmas will be on an abbreviated power play here to start the second frame. Shots are 23-15 in favor of the Lone Star Brahmas. They outshot the Bugs 10-6 in the first and 13-9 in the second. It's been a rough showing for the Bugs thus far in this one, and they got to do something to right the ship here in period number 3 as we're almost back to action. Bugs will skate left to right, pucks down, we're underway. The Bugs control the third straight opening faceoff of a period. It's immediately jumped in, shorthanded are the Bugs, so no icing, and a big hit there delivered on the Lone Star Brahmas. They'll start to bring out the other way. Lone Star in over the line. It's Lucier. Lost the puck in the corner. It goes. Now it wraps around the boards far side for Leo Isaacson. Isaacson's got it right corner. Down low for Lucier. Knocked off the puck by Owen Case. He ties him up along the wall. Tyler Hodges remains in net for the Bugs. So Jason Zuby Campbell put his confidence in his netminder. Here's Lexell. Leaves it off high slot. Big drive. Peterson. Stop. Rebound. Comes out in front. Picked up by the Brahmas again. Near corner for Tavares. He chips it off the wall. Lucier takes the check from Owen Case, and Remy Pusateri backhands it and lifts it out to center. Peterson got a piece of it with his glove, so it doesn't go all the way down. He'll leave it back towards his net now as the Brahmas will settle it down back of the cage. That's Gustav Lexell controlling behind the net. As Cray will slap his paddle that time a few times, letting his team know the penalty's about to expire. That's Joe Semengo is out of the box, and he'll join the play as the Brahmas now will break it out. Heads up play by Lone Star there to avoid the cheap turnover by hanging out with the man coming out of the box. Shot there, goes towards the crease. Trickles into the near corner where Joe Semengo will win the foot race for it. They'll leave it off now for Evan Adams. He can't corral it cleanly. Goes through the skate to the referee, up towards the blue line, out to center. Vates steals it away, though. Back in over the line right side. Jackson Vates with it. Hits the brakes in the corner. Slides it up top for O'Keefe. O'Keefe, left point, drive, top shelf. He scores. Liam O'Keefe snipes it. Top shelf to the glove side of Tyler Hodges, and it's 5-0 Brahmas, a 5 spot with 18:25 to go in the third. And for the second straight period, the Brahmas open up the scoring in the opening 2 minutes of a frame. What a shot for Liam O'Keefe that time. Just got the rebound out in front, and from the circle, he just bombed it past Tyler Hodges. And Liam O'Keefe now with his first goal of the season coming for the Brahmas in 25 games. He's been a big playmaker thus far. Had not entered the scorecard goal-wise, but he got one there. And a tough Sunday continues for the Bugs as Liam O'Keefe controls the face-off at center ice. 18-18 to go. Third period. As Sable will dump it in, goes on for the referee. Into the corner, the Bugs pick it up, defensive end. They flip it up the wall to center. Liam O'Keefe will track it back down at his own blue line. Brahmas will start to break out far side. Brahmas in a white and purple, moving right to left. It's going to be nice and call as the Bugs will win the race. And offensive zone drive coming for the Bugs on the Louder Baking Company icing. We'd like to remind you that Porter's Industrial has been delivering the difference for Mudbugs hockey, locally owned and operated for over 50 years, providing uniforms, floor mats, and facility services for your company. Porter's Industrial, delivering the difference. Ozone draw for the Bugs. Looks like Vinny Giulio is going to be in to take it. He'll line up across from Vladimir Sable. Eventually controlled by Scanlon, defensive end, far corner. Works below the goal line, off to the left of his net, flips it up the wall towards the blue line as it skitters that time. And John Burt will rifle it back in. Liam O'Keefe picks it back up. He corrals it off of the boards, works off to his right, trying to escape the back check impression of Grayson Gerhardt. And Gerhardt steals it away from him. Barrett's got at the circle for a moment. Sable will backhand it up off the boards for Venton Cinque, who brings it over the line, hits the brakes just over the blue line. And then Grayson Gerhardt steals it away, far half wall, banks it off the wall, goes off of the linesman. Not going to be enough for icing, though. It might have been pretty close had it not hit the skate of the linesman that time. It's played up now by Grayson Cohen. Cohen flips up the wall, far side. Bugs steal it right back. Vinny Giulio. D-zone, in the middle of the ice, cuts off to his right now. To the right of the center circle, Zach Wilson brings it in just over the blue line. Stolen away immediately, though, before he got to the circles as it's rifled off of the glass. Took a weird hop. It doesn't get all the way down from Capano. Icing is washed out as it was tipped by the Brahmas. Foot race forward in the corner. Oliver shoves a Bug down. That's going to be a penalty. And just the second penalty of the game. As now here we go. There's going to be a little bit of mix it up as the newcomer for the Brahmas, Grayson Cohen, shoved a Bug after the whistle. That was Jason Simons who will grab a hold of him, but the delayed penalty upcoming on Oliver. He's going to go sit for two. It's the first penalty of the game on the Brahmas, and just the second penalty of the game overall, as he'll sit for 2 minutes for cross-checking. Cross-checking the call on Alexander Oliver. Not a player who's going to sit too often. He only has 14 penalty minutes coming into the game. Now the Bucks have a power play down 5-0, 16:56 to go. This is a way you can wake the offense up. Got to get it going on the power play, sitting just over 17%. And now looks like Giulio's going to get thrown out of the faceoff. 17.6% to be exact, the power play for the Bucks. They were unsuccessful on the man advantage against Corpus, 0 for 9. A rough weekend on the man advantage for the Bucks. They got a chance here. Giulio wins it back towards the blue line. John Burt controls left point, walks down the slot, fires it, puts it wide, goes off the boards, off the back of the net, and the referee's going to blow the whistle. 7 seconds into the power play. Face-off will stay in the offensive zone for the Bucks. Got to get something going here offensively, and at least take some positives out of this Sunday matchup. Bucks back at home next weekend. Big series against the Odessa Jackalopes, as the Bugs and Jackalopes are separated by only a few points towards the bottom of the playoff qualifying teams in the South Division. The Lone Star also needed this victory here. They've got a couple of teams making a run for it right now. New Mexico jumped El Paso after last night, so now the Brahmas have to stave off New Mexico. Big drive here right out in front. One time missed it. Grayson Gerhardt gets it back, right point. Tries to pitchfork it down into the corner. He slides it across the blue line, far side. Oakland leaves it off for John Burt. High slide. Birdie fires one over top the net, goes off the glass. Bounces off the back of the cage, up for Grayson Gerhardt again. Right point for John Burt. Now Hoagland, one-time blast from the left circle. Try to poke it at the rebound where the Bugs. The puck's loose in the crease. Cray is down on his stomach. Bucks get it back up top for John Burt. Fires one, and what a stop by Cray. Sprawls to his right, falls on his backside and for the seat of his pants. He makes his stop with 1:17 to go on the power play.
I wouldn't quite call that save of the year, but save of the month, definitely. Save of the month, and, well, some might call it save of the year. So, our friends over there, and, well, our friends from Section B back at the North Richland Hills area and the NYTEX Sports Center over there, but they might call it save of the year. But it was a good save, nonetheless, by Brady Krupp.
Joe Semengo to take it right side into circle, eventually controlled by Austin Peterson, though. Slings it across for Wildfong, back for Peterson, near side, will pitchfork it up to center ice, played by Owen Case. Lays it off for Joe Semengo, who's got it through the middle logo, now off to the left, in over the line. Jonah Jasser spins it down low. Minute to go on the power play for the Bucks. 15:53 left in the third. Trailing 5-0. The Brahmas will clear this one out. Evan Adams going to have to track it down. for the Bucks. Has it to the right of his net. Starts to break out. Righty stick. No pressure thus far. Now over the red, now over the blue. Looking for a play. Down to the bottom of the right circle. Crashes towards the net. Goes behind the cage now. Flips it up the far half wall again. Bucks will cycle it to Jasser. One-time drive from the high point. That one stops. Goes behind the net for Sakrisky. Leaves it off for Semengo. Back up top for Jasser. Jasser tried to look for the extra pass, and it was stolen away and cleared by the Brahmas. That's one you'd like to see him just pull the trigger there.
Oh, absolutely. It's just an unnecessary hesitation by Jonah Jasser. Just not what you wanted to see. I mean, granted, yeah, you're down 5-0, but you still need to throw something the way of Brady Cram.
Here's Gerhardt. He'll chip it to himself. But Sable's going to win the foot race behind the cage. Oliver standing up in the box waiting for the instructions. He's out of the box. They've cut off the penalty. So the Bucks power play this weekend now 0 of 10. But struggling as Birchfield sent it back for Zach Wilson. He'll wrap it around the boards for John Byrne. Waits at the right circle. Defensive end. Now up the wall for Birchfield. Birchfield throws his free arm out to try to stave off a defender. Lucier takes the check. He gets spun down to the ice. John Byrne picks it back up. Below the goal line, will settle it down. 14 and a half to go in the third. Up ahead, outlet pass. Coming down the slot. Birchfield fires it. Saved by Cray. And then it squeaks through his pads, and they're going to say it's a goal. And the Bucks are on the board. An ugly goal for the Bucks, but it's what you need. And it's the Bucks finally break the ice with 14:23 left as the Mudbugs start flying out there. It's 5-1.
Well, Zach, we've said it before, and well, I'll say it again. You'll say it again. We'll all say it again. Jason Super Campbell wanted the greasy goal. He got it right there from Charlie Birchfield. Love to see it as I believe Cray had it. Like, he had it, don't get me wrong. He had it, and it just trickled in through him. But you know what? Hey, you'll take that at this point. Now, that is a positive to take out of this Sunday game, but you want a little more positive to take away from this. But it finally gives the fans here at George's Pond who has made the trek out something nice to see.
Goal number 6 of the season for Charlie Birchfield, his second since joining the Bugs, and his second in 2 weekends as well. So there we go. Charlie Birchfield gets on the board. 5-1 our score. 14:23 left here in the third. And again, he forced a turnover, got it into the zone, took a shot. Like you said, Cray stopped it initially, and then he fell out from under him. And I don't think he ever had it cleanly. If you kind of saw him when he first made the save, he looked back looking for the puck, and then it was under him, and then he just kind of kicked it with the heel of his skate.
Yeah.
So, but again, it crossed the line. A goal's a goal.
Oh yeah. Again, if it crosses the line and it counts, it's a goal we want to see. So, as the ever-present goalie sieve. By the way, there's a really good story about that, about why it's goalie sieve. I'll have to pull it up here and send it out through the airwaves another time.
Speaking of goalies and sieves, I think there's a movie that I watch a lot that has the line about that.
Okay.
Of course, Miracle, when they're all meeting each other. Jack O'Callahan finally meets Jim Craig, and he asks him, "What's up, you sieve?" So there you go. That's my dad's favorite line from that film as it goes into the corner here. Birchfield gets the goal. Hoagland gets the assist. Big drive there, turned aside as looks like Remy got knocked down in the middle of the ice. He's going to gingerly head off to the bench as he's favoring that left leg that time. Now it's played back to the circles for Liam Wolf-Talby. Gives it far side for Zach Wilson. He's got to settle it down back of the net. The tall, lanky defenseman comes in at 6'6", joined the team a couple of weeks ago. Now it's Vinny Diulio, paddles it ahead. This is going to be icing if the outlet pass doesn't connect. As Vates wins the foot race, brings all the way back down with 13:32 left.
Right now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing your Mudbugs
and the anti-pest of the game. Let's see who we got.
Said with the usual disdain and indifference. Lone Star.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Going to be the goalie, yeah. Right, I was going to say, they've got 5 different goal scorers, so you can't use any particular player there.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy how we've seen that kind of develop the last couple of weeks for the Bugs, having different goal scorers on every goal, and Lone Star is putting on the reverse here. It goes back to that. Wilson will wrap it around the boards. Vinny Diulio touches it back up to center, eventually tracked down, though, by the Brahmas at their own line. It's Geller. Geller's got center ice, pitches it forward. Brought in over the line, Tavares far side. Hits the brakes at the circles. Looks for a play, will dump it off the board, then a Bug steal it away. Vinny into open ice for Semengo. Semengo down the slot. Looks off to the right, fires it. Stick save there. Bounces out in the slot. Picked up by the Browns, back the other way. Geller around the defense. Geller got hooked that time. Now he goes towards the net. Shot trickles through. He goes 5-hole on Tyler Hodges, and it's now 6-1, and it's another new goal scorer for the Lone Star Brahmas. This time getting around the defense with Vincent Geller. It's his third goal of the season. And it's 6-1 with 12:58 to go in the third.
The disdain from the Bugs faithful here tonight, rallying or going around the Georgia Spawn here at the Coliseum. Of course, on the other side, Brahmas fans, and even over here with us, Brahmas fans are loving this. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Brahmas have given the fans here in attendance of theirs 6 reasons to have some positive things to say. But nonetheless, and it looks like Brett Smith is talking with Ethan Phillips. I don't know if anything will develop out of that necessarily, but just we'll have to keep an eye on that at this point, yeah.
As we mentioned, Tyler's been solid all season long. I've always been a fan of Tyler Hodges, but just does not have it today. Looks kind of shaky out there. But as you mentioned, it's not always a bad thing to kind of have to battle through it as well, because it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. As Roberts into the slot it goes, stolen away by O'Keefe, who launches it up into the seats. Couple of rows up there. Stops time at 12:35, and now the Brahmas are going to be unable to change. Wild Fong thought it was tipped, and the referee says, I don't think so.
As we wait for the face-off to be developed, and it is. Now it'll be off to the right of Brady Gray. And notice that Jeremiah Roberts is wearing a bubble, a protective bubble. That's the third Mudbug with a bubble, so it's good to see facial protection being covered. Because trust me, I guarantee you there's some people that would definitely want a bubble out there taking some of the shots that the Bugs do against, well, any of these South Division teams, really.
Here's Vinny cycling up towards the blue line. Took a high stick there, not caught. Here's a big drive for Adams. Whistles wide. Referee's letting them play out there this afternoon. As Julia will backhand it off for the linesman. Gets it in. They have to tag up to the Bugs. Brahms get it right back in front of their own nets. Liam O'Keefe got his first goal of the season against the Bugs here. This is going to be an icing call. As Owen Case wins the race with 12:10 left to go here in the third.
Bugs fans is up to the big board tonight's Mudbugs Acme Brink. Rick Ball.
All the way back down. Bugs will be back at home next weekend, or actually this weekend, I guess, depending on if you're one of the Sunday first day of the week people, against the Odessa Jackalopes, March 6th and March 7th. For our Marty party finally getting able to get underway here. We're long overdue, and we get to see the Mardi Gras jerseys finally as well out there on the ice. We've seen it quite a few times in different appearances. Big drive for Gerhard, who's turned aside, but finally get to see them out on the George's Pond ice as this is flipped to center by the Brahmas. Try to bring it in, but Vinny Giulio steals it back to center ice. Lone Star picks it back up at the center red, and they'll dump it back to their own blue. Liam O'Keefe with it, rifles it up the boards, intercepted by Ryan Bear. Poked away from him, though, as it's dumped in by the Brahmas. 11:47 left to go here in the third period. Brahmas up 6-1 on the Bucks. As Ryan Barrett will stick it to center for Grayson Gerhardt. He pushes it ahead. Gets shoved off the puck by Capano. Pearson tracks it down behind his netminder. Works off to the right side. Flipped up to center ice again. Birchfield got a touch shot all the way back down. Zach Wilson's going to win the foot race in the far corner. Wilson hit off stride. Gets it back to the blue line, but not out. Capano turns and burns and fires it into the corner. It goes. Near side it bounces. Wrapped around the boards again. Now as Campus plays defense at the point. And Zach Wilson brings it in. Just barely onside. Wilson, top of the right circle, leaves it off. Semengo through traffic. Shot one. That's a kick save. Jasser racing after it against Wild Fong. Will be picked up by the Bucks. Back to their own blue line. It's Joe Semengo with it. Semengo leaves it back off for Jasser. He turns it over. Right out in front. Down the slot. Wild Fong. He lifted it over the net. As Zach Wilson picks it back up. Had a great chance down the slot. Give a little too much elevation that time. This one's dumped in. Into the corner it goes. Far side for Diampus. Spins off a check. Bounce free to the Bugs. Offensive end. They force a turnover. Big blast from the left point. Is turned aside. Bounces off the top of the glass and trickles down into the near corner. Big check delivered there as it's picked back up by the Brahmas. Far side. Flipped ahead by McFadden. Only just barely out of the zone. Bugs get it back and it's dumped in for Hoagland, right to himself, off the board, crashes over the net, he lost it. Off the edge of his stick, Wolf Talby gets it back. Liam's got it, top of the left circle. Now for Hoagland again, right point. Down low to the bottom of the near corner. Up top for Liam Wolf Talby through traffic, that's stopped. And McFadden is gonna jump in front of Hoagland and they'll steer each other down as we head to immediate timeout. 10:08 left here in period number 3. 6-1 Brahmas over the Bugs on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Hey Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals, whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case or visit them online at defatapi.com.
Hey, this is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action. Claws up.
Well, we talked about goaltending in the pregame interview, and well, that's come up big yet again for the Brahmas, allowing 1 goal thus far in the game. Brahmas lead 6-1 with 10:08 left here in the third period. Brahmas are averaging, only allowing just over 2 goals a game. His own Case fires one. Rebound comes in front, goes off of the post. Trickles out, comes near side. Tavares takes a hit. Brahmas started back up. This is going to be an icing call, as Vinny Giulio will win the race by a few strides here, but yeah. Allowing 2.09 goals a game. And, well, that's holding true thus far here, Duncan.
Absolutely. Just an utter almost dominance from Brady Cray. And it's definitely been proving as Brady Cray has been showing up. And speaking of which, let's take a look at their shot numbers. You know what's funny is it's 26-26. It's even shots. That's what I find interesting about it all. It's really been almost a low shot game. But man, just an interesting events as the face-off now is won by the Brahmas, and Lexo will grab it, but not before Gerhard gets to it in the corner.
Well, it's one of those things we've kind of been talking about. It's really been a few mistakes by the Bucks. It's not that either team has really had an upper hand offensively. It's just been defensive mistakes. I mean, even that goal for the Bucks was one that Cray should have stopped, or did stop initially. So just been an ugly game on this Sunday as it goes into the corner. Back of the cage is played by Grayson Gerhardt, eventually won by Tavares. Tavares leaves it off now for Oliver. Oliver flips it up the near wall, takes a check that time at the circle that's held in by Nandor Polonier. Now streaks towards the net, picks back up by the Brahmas. They'll lift it out of the zone to center ice. Takes a weird hop and just sits right on the top of the center red line. Vinny Giulio tracks it down. Getting a lot of ice time here in this third period. 9:08 left to go. 6-1 to score in favor of the Brahmas as it's played by Cray, and Lexel and DiUlio jawing away at each other back at the neutral zone as the puck's in the offensive end for the Bucks. Adams blasts that one wide. Sable's going to race after the loose puck, takes a check, and the Bucks force a turnover right at center ice. It's Birchfield from a knee doing the dirty work to send it towards the net. Cray behind the cage to play it, leaves it off for Liam O'Keefe. O'Keefe flips it off the glass left side of the zone. This is going to go all the way down for icing, maybe. No, it's waved off as it barely got to the red line as Mitchell Reed gets spun down in the corner by Sable. Bugs give it away defensive end. It's Scanlon up to the wall for O'Keefe. O'Keefe fires a blast. Rebound comes out in front. Sable poking away at it. He gets it back, slides it up to the far point, goes over the stick of Talakra back to center. Maddox tracks it back down, works to the middle and dumps it in as the Brahmas will tag up, and some of them will head off for a change as Evan Adams picks it up behind his net. 8:13 to go, third period. Bugs will wrap it off the boards to center ice again. Just trickles through the middle logo, now picked up by Lucier. He'll dump it around a defender, and the Bugs will force the turnover in front of their net. Dropped off far circle. Bugs starting to bring out up ahead, touched into the offensive zone. Brahma steal it right back, and now some extracurriculars away from the play there as it comes near side for Adams. Adams in the corner. Wraps it around the board, gives it back far side as they play catch below the goal line. Flipped up to center ice. Outlet pass does not connect. Icing is waved off as it goes on net, and Cray will cover for a whistle with 7:40 left. Offensive zone draw coming up for the Bugs.
What a play! Brought to us by Whataburger.
6-1 our score here in period number 3. In favor of the Lone Star Brahmas. They had that, really it was the second period that kind of changed things. A 3-goal second period, because now if you're the Bugs, it was a tough first period. You had the turnover from Scanlon who scored the goal, but it's only 1-0. Then things compounded with 3 second period goals, including 2 of them about 1 minute and 40 seconds apart. Bugs got one back, and then another goal for the Brahmas puts them at 6-1. And somebody took a high stick that time. Not going to get the penalty. It was Remy, as he's been beaten up in this game so far. Took the hit earlier, now takes a high stick. He still fights after, gets shoved along the boards. Behind the play as the Brahmas start a 3-on-2 the other way. Here's Isaacson, hits a break at the left circle. Isaacson towards the blue line, in the high slot, leaves it off for Dampoose, goes into the corner. Touched by McFadden, wrapped around the boards. Wildfong can't corral it cleanly. He goes up the boards to the blue line. Now Nolan will dump in backhanded. Into the near corner it comes, and McFadden hauls a Bug down, gets the puck free towards the blue line. It's Isaacson. High slot, leaves it off now for Cohen. Cohen stolen away from him. Bugs have an odd man rush potentially forming. Here's Griner over the line. He tried to leave it off, and he got pushed on top of the puck. He gets it in front, and Jasser cut down the back door. Just couldn't poke it home. Great chance there for the Bugs. Now back the other way. It's Oliver. Oliver in the slot. Rebound comes McFadden. Tried to one-time it. Bugs got a piece of it. That was Ryan Bairder did. Up ahead, outlet pass. Now here's Robert down the slot. Breakaway, and Jeremiah scores. He goes glove side on Cray, and the Bugs get one back with 6:32 to go. It's 6-2.
Excellent stuff there. Jeremiah Roberts able to get the stick on it. Get the puck on his stick, on his forehand, and wrist it right past the glove side of Brady Cray. So, scoreline might say one thing, but the moral victories say another. And I believe Jeremiah Roberts has earned himself a moral victory, especially after taking a shot to the facial region. So,
that's goal number 7 of the game for Jeremiah Roberts, a kid out of Colorado Springs. Joined the team in November. Got a big factor offensively at times. You know, you and I were kind of talking about this the other day. He's a very streaky player. He'll score a bunch of goals back to back to back to back, and had a good weekend against Odessa and Amarillo, and that continues here as he gets the goal with 6.5 to go in the third. There's also great awareness by the Bugs. They had the puck back in the D zone, and it flipped all the way to Robert, who was waiting at the blue line, got behind the D, and was able to go forehand on the breakaway. Nice play by Jeremiah, cuts the lead to 4, 6.5 to go. It is the North American Hockey League South Division after all. You never know what could maybe happen. The face-off at center ice, Vinny DiUlio in to take it after the Bugs goal. Goes on net from the face-off. Sends it off to the right for Talacro. In the corner, O'Keefe picks it up. O'Keefe will play it up the wall. Bugs will pinch and hold in, far point. Now it's dumped down to center. Picked back up by the Bugs, and Roberts immediately fires it into the zone. Cray back of his net to play it. Talacro wraps it around the kick plate. Far side, Owen Case chooses to retreat and play defense and avoid giving the odd man rush rather than pinching. And this is going to be icing.
All right, that's a interesting Louder Baking Company icing, Zach, but that's, I mean, it was late. It was late. It was a, I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a little, I mean, don't get me wrong. It was there, but just
kind of developed oddly, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Barely got over the line. And clearing the puck, he was pretty close to the red line anyway.
Yep.
That was an interesting one there.
Oh, yeah.
The face-off comes off to the left. Bugs have an ozone draw. They've been big on face-offs thus far. This one tied up along the wall. Lone Star will play to the blue line, but not out. Held in. Big drive there in the slot. Turned aside. Picked up by Lucio. Flip it up the wall to the blue line. Brought in by Capano. Capano spins off a check, and Birchfield picks up the loose puck in front of his own goal. Comes near side. Off the boards for Reed. Couldn't corral it, and Lone Star is offside. Capano tried to save it. Linesman said it came out. Stops time with 5:47. Ty Scanlon got the first goal at the 16:11 mark of the first period. McFadden and Tavares followed up in the opening 4 minutes of the second. I made it 3-0. Dampoose got one at 8:39, and O'Keefe got one 2 minutes into the third period. That made it 5-0. Charlie Birchfield got on the board for the Bugs. Made it 5-1 before Geller responded a few moments after that to make it 6-1. And Jeremiah Roberts a few moments ago, just about a minute ago, made it 6-2. So again, the Bugs have some offensive life here. Like to see him get at least one more as Gerhard's got a puck around the D and over the line, hits the brakes, and he shoved off the puck. Heads up play there by Peterson on defense for Lone Stars. They'll just lift it out of the zone to center. Picked back up by Poloni. Played over the stick of Evan Adams. Dump back the other way. Sable spun off the puck at center. Goes back into the Brahmas end. 5 minutes to go here in the third. Flipped up the wall for Venton Cinque. He'll dump it in, go off for a change as it's picked up by the Bugs back of their own net. They'll start the breakout. It's Evan Adams up the right side. To the center of the ice for Simons. Now up for Jasser. Back for Simons. Down the slot. Fires one. And Cray watches it against his crest. And he'll hang on for a whistle with 4:53 left here in the third period. I'd like to remind you that Mudbugs Hockey is always brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings Beer Sports. Also a host of our coaches show. Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Come on out and join us for some good food, some good beer, and some good action. Yeah. Talking with our coaches and our player guests. For our last weekend at home before we head out on the road after that. Thankfully, again, we only have 2 road trips left down to the 5 or so weeks left. So this one got a lot of action at George's Pond. Big time behind the play. Bugs were offside as Jasser got held up by McFadden as those two got tangled up. Now comes back in the Brahmas end, flipped up the boards to the Bugs end. Picked back up now by Poloni. Poloni up the near side will drop it off in front of his net for Wilson. Wilson. The righty shot will dump it in. Over the line it comes for the Bugs. Offensive end, one-time drive. That lifted over top the net. Comes near side now. Along the half wall, it's dumped around the boards by Hoagland. Far side, Jackson Vates picks it up. And Vates will flip it out of the zone. This is going to go for icing. And Lone Star tried to sneak in a late change there. The referee and the linesman all over that one with 4:10 left here in the third. Again, Bugs are back at home next weekend against the Odessa Jackalopes, March 6th and 7th. And now looks like another discussion here. The Lone Star bench, I think they might have taken a timeout. I think that was a signal, and they did. Wildfong takes it. Well, now the referee talking to head coach Jason Soupy Campbell, and there's been no official signal yet, but both teams are huddling at the benches. See what we got going on here in the third period. 4:10 left. Referee having a discussion now with Dan Wildfong behind the bench. Yeah, both teams are huddled like they're in a timeout. I thought I saw the referee give the T signal.
Yeah, I thought I did too. And you know what I always find interesting about Dan Wildfong is his ability to turn, his ability to talk, to put it lightly. And I mean that in a good way, especially if from the side of the Lone Star Brahmas. He's able to find and get a case for anything sometimes. And in a coach, you want that sometimes. Now, on the other side of things, you want a coach like Jason Soupy Campbell, who can be calm and collected, but when you need him to be aggressive and raging, he is. So basically what I'm saying is there's no perfect coach. Well, I'll hold my bias on perfect coaches till later.
Well, the best coaches, to your point, are ones that are able to communicate effectively with everybody, with athletic directors or GMs if we're kind of the pro sports model. Definitely officials. There's definitely a way to do that, and a way not to do that as well. Kind of works both ways here. The offensive zone draw for the Bugs. I think he did use his timeout just to talk to the referee. His own case will slide it back to the blue line, held in by Remy. Sends it towards the net, gets deflected in the corner. Roberts gets knocked down. Picked back up by Vinny DiUlio, slides it up to the wall for Pusateri. He'll turn and fire it into the corner, stays onside. In the near corner, the Bugs have it. It's Roberts getting shoved off the puck. He lost his stick. Has it tied up along his skates. Ryan Barrett gets knocked down away from the puck. Picked up by Oliver. He's shoved off the wall. Now everybody finding a dance partner out there right now as the puck squirts free far side. Dumped up to center ice. Picked back up Ryan Barrett. And over the line right side. Barrett hits the brakes at the top of the circle. And Roberts will turn it and fire it towards the net. Takes a weird hop and arcs towards the net. Picked back up by Oliver. Oliver slides it up the wall to the blue line, and Remy will kick it with his skate to hold it in. McFadden has it in his skate and now dump it out, and Ryan Barrett knocks Vates down from behind at the blue line. 3:20 to go. as Birchfield spins off a defender, leaves it back off for Owen Case. Sends it right side for Remy Pusateri. He'll flip it off the wall for Ryan Barrett. Only got a little bit of a piece of it. It's flipped out of the zone and all the way back down to the Bugs end by Lone Star. Played up by Ryan Barrett again. Barrett over the line for Wolf Talby. Just barely onside. He fires one stick save. It deflects way up in the air. And the Bucks can't hold it as Mitchell Reed tried to save it at the blue line, but it came out, so that's offside with 2:55 left here in the third. Back here at George's Pond. Again, Bucks back at home next weekend. After 3 games this weekend, 2 games against Corpus Christi, we split that series. Lone Star comes in here today, puts on a good showing. Bugs do not have their best stuff out there tonight. It's showing on the scoreboard right now as the Brahmas lead 6-2 in the final few minutes of this one. Now they almost turn it over in front of the net. Reed with a nice play to stay with it though. And the Bugs turn it over at the blue line now. High slotted Scanlon with it. Scanlon knocked off the puck by Reed. Gio Semengo plays it. And you notice on that play there, Duncan, we'll get to it in the stoppage, but the Bucks had all 5 players basically on Scanlon in the slot, but they were able to steal it away from him. Here's Semengo in over the line right side, dumps it in from the blue line. One-time rebound attempt for Griner, and a big hit as Griner throws a man down. That was Talacro. Sable shoves Griner. Now Venton Cinque is jabbing away there, and Liam Wolf-Talby takes a cross check, and now things are starting to get ugly here as the linesman smartly will grab the Bugs and escort them away. And now Sable along the blue line as well gets tied up with Joe Semengo. Pushing Venton Cinque did not like the hit in the corner, and he grabbed a hold of Liam Wolf-Talby, and Wolf-Talby threw a few jobs back at him, and it looks like we're going to have the initial call was going to be on Lone Star, it was going to be on Christian. Well, we'll see what happens there.
And of course now assistant coach Logan Murphy yelling at head referee Matthews down there. And, I mean, dude, come on now. It's not that deep. It's not that deep at this point. Don't get me wrong. I never want to say that, but it's not that deep, brother man. But nonetheless, Bucks go on to work on this Scott Powerline power play. You know, it'd be nice to really get something going on the Scott Powerline play. If nothing else, give good effort.
So now the linesman and the referee are talking here. Wildfong is kind of hitting the side of his head, wanting to hit to the head there on the hit in the corner. So roughing is the call on Venton Cinque, and right now it looks like referee Matthews going to go over and talk to Dan Wildfong. And it was a nice conversation in the timeout. This one's not going to be as nice, I have a feeling.
Oh, no, not at all.
But again, players love when coaches stand up for them, and Wildfong believes that was a high hit. It was hard to tell because you had Liam deliver a hit, and you had Semengo already had him wrapped up from behind. So it's a weird-looking play. So, again, the only penalty on the board right now is on Christian. He sits in the box for 2. With 2:17 left, the Bucks will spend the majority of the rest of regulation. And really, they need it here because the Bucks are 0 of 10 in their last 10 tries on the power play. So, yeah, they just need to get the... And the power play looked great against Odessa, as now the referee will go talk to head coach Jason Subi-Campbell. But yeah, you know, they had the power play was great against Odessa, and then Corpus kind of shut down the man advantage. And now it looks like everybody's satisfied, or everybody has an explanation whether they're satisfied or not. It's only for us to surmise up here, but now the Bucks have the power play. Offensive zone, far side. Roughing is the call. Venton Cinque. He started cross-checking Liam Wolf-Talby in front of the bench. That's what drew that penalty. Now the linesman's going to throw the Lone Star center out.
Yeah, after he just kind of jabbed there at, I believe that's Charlie Birchfield. Yeah, it is Charlie Birchfield. So after he kind of jabbed at him, yeah, he throws him out. I mean, that's a good call, I think.
Well, Birchfield and Sable will battle on this draw, and it's won by Birchfield. Back for Burt. Fires a one-timer that time. Goes into the corner for Birchfield. Behind the cage, it's tracked down by 21 in white. That's the newcomer Peterson. He's had a big game. Here's Burt, fires one wide. Comes near side for Gerhardt. He'll race after it. He gets tripped up in the corner. No call there. And now all heck is breaking loose as Peterson grabs a hold of, that's Birchfield again as those two go back after it. John Burt tracks it back down. Things get ugly out there now. Now the Bugs will bring it back in. Minute 44 to go. 6-2 the score. Here's John Burt down the slot. Leaves it off. Shot in the crease. Rebound comes outside. Oakland Somebody grabbing his stick that time, or actually Birchfield rather, now good for Oakland, goes over his stick back out to center. So Oakland's got it, waiting for everybody to get back on side. Now he wraps it hard around the boards. Ping pongs over to the far wall, and a nice play by John Bart to glove down the clearing attempt. Burns got it, left point. Banks it off the wall, bottom of the left circle for Hoagland, and now Birchfield gets tied up with Dampoose. They're going to go, and Birchfield jumps on top of him and throws a couple of rights. And Birchfield's going to be escorted away here. Charlie, again, physical player, and it looks like, let's see if they take Dampoose as well. They're going to send Dampoose out to the bench. Looks like Birchfield's going to sit. So I think we're starting to get ugly here. And quite frankly, it's interesting it's taken this long for frustrations to boil over. The Bucks have not had a good showing, and down by 4 goals still there with 1:17 to go. And it's already a rivalry anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get the feeling that at this point with 1:17 left, to steal a line from the third Mighty Ducks movie, well, if you can't beat them, beat them. I get the feeling that that's kind of the mindset, you know, you want to have physical play at this point. So again, if you can't beat them, beat them. That's got to be the mindset, you know, the few ticks of clock we have left.
So 4-on-4 for the rest of regulation. 1:14 to go. You'd like to just see the 1:10 just end to be done as the Boo Birds start raining down for the George's Pond crowd. This is going to be icing here. There are frustrations for the referee, I get it. Although I thought Matthews has called a pretty good game thus far. He's let him play consistently. He's gotten the physical penalties that he needs to. The cross-check from went to Sinkway. Birchfield jumping Dampoose. Like, I don't know, I thought he's had a good game so far. And now let's see what's going on here as the referee will skate over the penalty box. Looks like the Bucks have somebody going off here.
Yeah, so
Gerhard.
Yeah.
So Gerhard goes to the locker room.
Have to find out what comes out of that, and there's something to be said about what just happened. As Grayson Gerhard goes to the locker room, I think it'll be updated once everything comes out in the wash, as the statisticians finish their job here as the Bugs enter the zone.
Offensive zone for the Bugs in a far corner. Poloni picks it up, shoved off the puck that time by Grayson Cohen. Flipped up the wall. Bugs hold it in at the blue line. Here's Adams, right point, shot there, turned aside. Adams gets it back, 35 seconds left. Wait for the call. Misconduct, 10-minute misconduct on Grayson Gerhard. Here's Roberts in the slot. Adams got taken down. Now for Burnt, gives it away. Here's Jackson Bates up the center of the ice, drops it off to the right side. Brought in over the line. Here's a big drive from Cohen. It's poked aside. 15 seconds to go. Let's see if they play it back out to center. Sinkway is out there on the power play now. Up ahead, they bring it into the zone. 8 seconds to go. Into the corner it comes. Case provides some defense there. John Burnt clears it out to the corner. Backhanded up the wall, back out to center, and that's going to do it here on this Sunday as the Bugs have a rough showing here in their third game of the weekend. 3-2 the final score.
Give me a break. Sorry, I'm sorry, Zach. That was completely unprofessional of me. That's a little much from the Lone Star faithful, but nonetheless, the Bugs fans showing their backing of their team. Scoreboard says one thing, and yeah, the moral victory line I said earlier might have been a little sad, but I mean, you have to take something positive away from this game to build on much more as we go into next weekend. So, nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, just an interesting game.
6-2 the final. The Brahmas come in after their road trip last night. They don't play their best game either.
Oh, no.
Bucks had 4 early mistakes that have kind of really hurt them, especially on the Scanlon, McFadden, and Tavares goals, and everything else there as the Bucks stand at center ice, awaiting the signal for their stick tribute to the fans. A couple of the Brahmas down in their defensive zone, taking a knee, and reminding some people that, you know, hockey, it's bigger than hockey out there on the ice.
Absolutely.
That'll put a wrap on it here. We'll take a quick timeout. Nikki's post-game wrap-up show is on the other side of the break here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
You know that Shreveport Regional Airport offers more daily flights than any other nearby airport? Daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, and Houston means you're one stop from anywhere in the world. Make the short drive to Shreveport and start your vacation sooner.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our Sweet the Swamp Pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a Sweet the Swamp Pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Ramesses Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Already back here on the Mudbugs Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by our friends at Nikki's Mexican Restaurant. Nikki's, don't drink the water. Try our margaritas today. Bugs fall in this one 6-2, the final on this Sunday night. The Bugs now drop to 21-19, 3-5, 10-10, 1-2 at home here at George's Pond. And the Lone Star Brahmas sitting in first place continue their stretch as they try to stave off a couple of teams making runs at them in the standings, especially New Mexico. Jumped El Paso, now sits in second place. Bugs had a, again, tough showing defensively early on that really kind of flipped the game. Tyson Scaling got the first goal of the game 4 minutes into the first period, his 12th of the season. Cinque got the assist along with Vladimir Sabo. Followed up by McFadden and Tavares in the opening 2 minutes of period number 2 to make it 3-0 Brahmas before Dampoose got one as well, made it 4-0. Liam O'Keefe scored in the opening minute and a half of period number 3 for the Brahmas before Charlie Birchfield finally got the Bugs on the board with an assist from Evan Hoagland. Vincent Geller got one at the 12:56 mark to re-extend the lead to 5 goals before Jeremiah Roberts got the final tally of the hockey game, his 7th of the year. Ryan Barrett, his 3rd assist, and that's where we stand. Bugs outshot the Brahmas 33-27, and that's kind of what we mentioned there. It was not a great effort for the Bugs. It was not a great effort for the Brahmas either. Just a couple of Bugs turnovers really in that first period that kind of flipped everything open, and that's kind of where we stand after this Sunday.
Sorry, yeah, no, absolutely, but yeah, that's just where we kind of lay things. It was definitely an interesting game, and I say that from the perspective of the fact that, you know, like Zach, like you just said, it was really a game of opportunistic turnovers, especially for the Lone Star Brahmas, and even for the Bugs on the Charlie Birchfield goal. On that one, it was more of an opportunistic luck goal, I'll be honest, but no, it's just really was just opportunistic something for both sides tonight. Because, I mean, you know, in the Brahmas case, 4 goals off of turnovers in the defensive zone for the Bugs tonight. And just an interesting layout, Zach. But although games like this, don't get me wrong, games like this in November and in September and October, I mean, not the hugest deal in the world, but games like this in, you know, March and even in the few games we have in April, they hurt more, to put it bluntly. But I think the Bugs definitely are going to build from they are definitely going to build from this as we wrap the regular season up, especially with these next few weeks. You know, we have Odessa in New Mexico, Odessa again, and then Amarillo, and then of course El Paso to finish out the year. I don't
I think I got the order right on all those. If not, I at least got the opponents right. But nonetheless, I mean, and even if you take, for example, teams like Odessa and Amarillo, I mean, the Bugs against Amarillo, what, 1-5 and like 1-5-1. So the bottom teams, people always say trap game, and sometimes it can be. But the Bugs need to learn from those kind of trap games, and they need to put the effort that they put against these teams like Corpus, against Lone Star, against New Mexico and El Paso, need to apply them to across the rest of the division as we finish the regular season to finish in the top, at least in the top 4, because it would be nice to at least get some home playoff games, not necessarily have to play on the road all the time. But you know what? That's just as we look things, as the Lone Star faithful make their march down the ramp below us. And don't get me wrong, they have every reason to be happy. 6-2, like I said, the Brahmas have definitely given them 6 reasons to be happy. And you know what? Good for them. Good for them. But nonetheless, Zach, that's all I got on my ends of things. Of course, standings-wise, nothing's really going to be affected because, we're the only game in town, both literally, physically, and division-wise. But nonetheless, that's all for me, Zach. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are still tuned in, wherever you may be tuned in, do good, be good. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, claws up and go Bugs. Zach, send us on home.
Bugs dropped this one 6-2 the final on this Sunday. Bugs now record-wise dropped to 21-19, 3-5 overall, and their home record down to 10-10, 1-2. With that victory, the Lone Star Brahmas improved to 32-10 overall, and the victory netminder-wise goes to Brady Cray. That's his 7th win in 10 tries, and he continues that really solid 1.95 goals against, 929 save percentage for him. With that, Tyler Hodges drops his 2nd straight game. Last one was a shootout. This one now puts him at 15-11, 2-5 overall on the season. Bugs are back at home on Friday and Saturday against the Odessa Jackalopes for Mardi Gras weekend after the makeup. After the games with the Lone Star Brahmas were canceled due to the snow, so Bugs are back at home. You can always, as always, tickets.georgiaspon34.com. If you have a group of 10 or more, tickets are just $10 each. Call 318-636-7094 for more information from our wonderful staff in the front office. For my partner in crime tonight, Duncan Welker, for us to the Shreveport Mudbugs organization, this is the voice of the Mudbugs, Zach Grant.